thought I would do something different where I would like at least put the post like a day before. And then unless like, because I was just telling my husband now I'm about to go live, I wanted to try something else. I'm so glad that you're here. How are you? And let me know how you're feeling and whatever you want to discuss or talk about. I have to find a way to post these, but I think it's better the way I've done it now. I think I'm only 6-7 minutes late. So yeah, there's so much going on in the world right now. KE, hey KE, hey Lucy, I'm so glad you guys are here. It's so hard to figure out how to do these lives at times because I'm trying to figure out like timing, but this time for me right now is like the best time. So I'll stick to this. Maybe we'll do this like once a week on a weekday or something. So tell me what you guys want to talk about. We can talk about anything you want. Please like the video. That's great. Because these YouTube streets, honestly, the YouTube streets right now are not cool. YouTube is such a strange place at the moment. Like people's videos are not getting shown, so it's good that I'm able to like do these lives. That way you guys can see my video. So anyway, hello Claudia, how's mom life going? Life updates. It's going well. I mean, guys, I'm not one to like pretend because I don't do the Pegasus unicorn nonsense. I've already been told off in 2 motherhood Facebook groups for being like, can you guys stop fucking lying and shit? You know, but it's going much better. The first 3 months were tough. It was tough. I actually saw my gynecologist today and I was like, you know, you guys literally just give us a baby and tell us to go home with that baby. You know what I mean? Lero, hey, again. Hey, so glad you guys are here. I'm so glad you guys have turned up. So I was telling my man, I was like, oh, people turn up. Lucy says, have you been keeping up with fashion shows, Schiaparelli? Yes, I watched Big C's Couture fashion show. I watched Schiaparelli. I have to say, I did not like the Chanel Couture fashion show. Normally, I like their fashion shows, but I was like, yeah. KE, how is the family? Stalking any designer for baby heart? KE, I remember your comment on a Louis Vuitton baby spoon. I was on the Louis Vuitton website looking at the onesie, the play suit for when he's a year old, and it's finished for like 3 to 6 months old. People are buying this stuff, so I don't want anyone to say no one's buying it. Someone's buying this stuff, and it's not me at the moment. Claudia says Chanel was a mess. It was a mess. I mean, you know, like the way in couture shows, they always do a wedding dress at the end. That's the tradition, right? Is that they do a wedding gown at the end, right? So, because, you know, the women who buy couture, maybe someone's daughter's getting married, blah, blah, blah. The Chanel wedding dress, Karl Lagerfeld would never. Say what you want about Karl Lagerfeld, he would never. Ballet dancer, hello, ballet dancer. Hello to the chat, hello. Claudia says rags. They said rags on the runway. Yes, it was a mess. To me, the Schiaparelli one was nice, but it looked like costumes from that film, The Crow. Lucy says the wedding dresses have sucked lately. They have sucked in couture shows. Ballet dancer says, please hit the like button. Yes, guys, please hit the like button because honestly, I could use all the support I can get right now. Thank you for that, Ballet. Lyra says, I didn't like the Chanel. It just seems super basic to me. Let me just quickly go on their Instagram to remind myself of how awful it was. Because it was really terrible. Katie says no, because I'll definitely be getting cute H baby bay obsessed. I'm going to get the baby blanket on the trip this year. The blue one, obviously. Yep, on the Chanel website. The only thing I was excited about Chanel was seeing Keira Knightley. Keira's back. She's more present. We're seeing big Keira. Keira carries Chanel on her back during the days of Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't want anyone talking about Kristen, talking about these other Chanel faces. They can just keep Keira, Lupita, Margot, and Marion Cotillard. Everyone else can go. It was good to see Keira there. Literally. She carried Chanel on her back. There was like a period of time where she literally carried Chanel on her back. Yeah, this collection, no one asked you for this, baby. Like, I'm just looking at it because my phone is like leaning on my laptop. You remember Kira carried Chanel on her back. So I wish someone would say something about Kira, because it was good to see her there. This collection was whack. Okay, so I'm glad that we're all here. And you know what's so annoying about Chanel's couture shows? It was at the Grand Palais. You know that the Grand Palais was a venue that Karl Lagerfeld loved. It's a very Karl Lagerfeld kind of place to do a show. It's like you're showing in a place that's very Lagerfeldian. But as Claudia said, they're rags, honey. They were rags. I agree. And the wedding dress, really? Really? Lucy says, I feel like Chanel ready-to-wear has been boring. They repeat the same designs over and over again. I think the in-house team actually were doing fine with the ready-to-wear, but I don't think that they are, respectfully to them, no disrespect to them, I don't think that they're like couture level. Sorry. I don't think that they're like couture level. And that's not shade to them. It can't be easy to do this. You know what I mean? This is Chanel, like the brand that popularized the little black dress. They invented the high jewelry category. Like, it can't be easy, but Claudia's right. These were rags. It was a mess, a disaster. Anyway, good to see Kira there. That was it. I was struggling, baby, to find something nice to say. Has Dior had their show yet? I don't think so. Oh, no, they're skipping it this time because he needs more time. Sorry, yeah, I forgot. They put something, I think it was like something on a fashion blog that said that they skipped it. Oh, Kirsten Dunst was there as well. That's nice to see her. Everyone else can leave. But yeah, I was not a fan of this collection. I feel like with the couture shows as well, they need to make them look as more ornate, because I think that's what makes couture really special. Some of these pieces, I know they're couture pieces, but they look like ready to wear. New Celine's looking promising. I'm definitely going to pass by Celine as well and check out. Because I know there's a new designer there, so I'll definitely pass by there too. It needs to look more ornate. You know, I was speaking to a Glamazon who had a friend who made inquiries at Valentino Haute Couture for a wedding dress. This is from a few years ago. This is the only person I've ever spoken to who knows someone who tried to order a wedding dress at Haute Couture at Valentino. And it starts like the basic, her words, not me, the basic bitch couture wedding dresses starts at 100,000 euro. Not me saying that. She said that. So they have dresses that go up to like 200,000. If it looks like these Chanel raggedy and, fabrics, no, thank you. Hello, Steph. So Steph says, hello. God, I'm glad you guys could make it. So glad about this. And I know that Chanel stuff is that their stuff is very intricate, but not that I'm getting married again, because I'm not. I've been married for 6 years now, but okay. If I was getting married, if you have that money, I'm sorry, I'm not giving Big C that money to make me a wedding dress. Sorry. I'm not. Not that it matters, but I think, but I'm just saying. Because this is a disaster. This is just a nightmare. The clip is just playing over and over again of the looks. It's just a no for me. And with Schiaparelli, sometimes I feel like what he's doing with the ready to wear is looking really promising. But I think like the couture Schiaparelli stuff looks very costume like. Oh, Lucy says George Hobeika, don't talk to me about him. I love his work. Let me go on his Instagram right now. I did catch a few glimpses of it. I didn't watch the whole show. Maybe I can just check out his Instagram. What a talent. Oh, yeah, the heartbeat thing was creepy. Lyra says, I'm tired of these one-trick pony twins. Ooh, always showing up to Chanel and Big H shows looking a mess. I don't know who you're talking about. Listen, guys, on my Insta, I reposted the reel from Bob Talk. Class of Palm Beach is the one who filmed it, but Bob Talk did the edits with the buzzer. Guys, I'm sorry, but that video, literally, like, I was at work. Lyra, write the name of the twins. Don't get me cancelled because I'm not saying it. The clip of the Palm Beach thing. Claudia says Schiaparelli beat Big H to saddles as clothing. That's funny. But remember the clip I posted on my Instagram? Guys, if you haven't seen it, go on Bob Talk's Instagram and there's like a reel of them asking people outside of the Big H fashion show what bag are you wearing? And only 2 people got it right. Oh, And it was like a lady who's clearly a client who had a Kelly Pochette in Lizard. Then it was Jordan Woods, who's a celebrity. And at the end, she's like, Himalaya. And there was a lady who was like, I don't know, but I just know it's Hermes and it's the mini Mador. God. That reel has had me screaming for like the past 4 days. I swear. It's like, my husband's like, it's not that funny. That is so bad. Yeah, Lucy, just after the live, you go on Bop Talk, you'll see it. There's so many comments, and it's like there's a buzzer for every wrong answer. And another lady was like, Mini Kelly 25. it was like, eh. I'm sorry. Bougie Stock Lover Doc says, yeah, I saw that. So disappointing. They didn't even know if it was a Birkin or Kelly. Yeah. Someone who was like, it's a Birkin. No, it's a Kelly. It's a Birkin. Lucy says, and the fact they invite those types of shows, ha 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 ha. Lucy says, Mini Kelly 25. Yeah. She's like holding it. She's like, Mini Kelly 25. Just like, but the best one was the one at the beginning. She was lent the mini Mador. By the way, that bag's very nice, very chic. Looks good, And she's like, I don't know. It was lent to me. I just know it's Hermes. Yeah, we know, girl. We know Big H is inviting influencers. Big H actually is like, she's too good. She's too cute to play the influencer game like Louis Vuitton. I want everyone's energy to be matched. Give Louis Vuitton the same energy when she was sending the Neverfulls to the girls. Bougie says, don't deserve those bags so you don't know what. Literally, the only two people in that clip, there was a VIP client at the beginning and Jordan Woods. So a celebrity and a VIP. Everyone else didn't know what the heck. Oh my God, that clip has had me screaming for the past like 3 days. Like, I just saved it. I'd left a meeting and it was like a really intense meeting. Then I was like, let me look at something and make me laugh. I was like, oh yeah, the real. People saying the wrong answers. Oh my God, yes. Georgia Hobeika on the Instagram. Oh, the designers from Lebanon are just unbeatable. I'm sorry. And their wedding dresses. Oh my God. Does that not make you want to get married again if you're already married? If you're not married, please get married and have a couture wedding dress so we can talk about it. Lucy says, you think at a minimum, comms team would train them on what their bags are called. What I find so frustrating, this is a good point that you made, Lucy, is like, why can't you just invite people? It's only fair to invite people who have spent the most and influencers. I get that. But why can't you just let people know this is the mini Mador? It's like inspired by horses. And then she's like, I don't know. I just know it's from Hermes. What? Lyra says, which non-quote? Zero. In Europe, anyway. I know in America, the Pochette in Swift is not a quota bag, but in Europe it is. I don't know why people are saying that, but I like the Maximals. How much is the Maximals at the moment? Let me go and press form and look so I can say it in real time here. Oh, I have the tab open because I was looking at the price of the shoulder Birkin. Guys, I like the shoulder Birkin. I like the shoulder Birkin. I don't care what any of you say. Many of you drag the shoulder Birkin on my Instagram. By the way, I want to talk about Louis Vuitton in a second, but I like the shoulder Birkin. The shoulder Birkin is 11,200 euros in the 29 centimeter in Ever color, 15,900 USD. And you know, the American Glamazons pay extra taxes on top of that. I like the Maximals. How much is the Maximals? How much is it? And the Della. Big H, no one's giving you any money for the Della. Bye. What do you think of the 2424? Honestly, I don't like that bag. Do you like that bag? I don't. The Mador. Mini Mador. I do not like that bag. Just me personally. Again, please don't be offended if you like it. Just because I don't like something doesn't mean it's not beautiful. Ooh, the Maximals is only 5,400 euros in Swift. Why did I think it was more? Yeah, the Himalaya one. I saw that one on the previous strip, 33,700. The Maximals being 5,400 euros in Swift. Why did that? Claudia says, okay, hear me out. Is the Del Elan cute? No, it's not. It looks like someone has taken a thong and put it on a handbag. For the love of bags, is not sure if Pochette is quoting USA, but I made it in May for my special orders. Anyone know? In America, the Pochette has a very specific rule. That's why we have to be very specific about the country. As far as I know, in the States, in Swift, it's not a quota bag. In crocodile or lizard or ostrich, it is. So in exotic. But in Swift, it isn't. It also comes in doublets, but I would assume if you have a doublets Pochette that would count because that's suede. Claudia says, LOL. Ballet dancer says, it does. It does. And then yours in Swift. Okay, it shouldn't be a quota bag then. For America, very specific, because in other countries it is one. Because anything designed by Jean-Paul Gaultier is very specific. Like, and particularly Jean-Paul Gaultier's work right now is seeing a renaissance in value. So Steph says, I still haven't gotten my quota bag 2.1. Oh, you're 2 to 1, 3 years in. Oh, when you get yours, I'm going to be so excited, please. The moment you get yours, please let us know. Are you asking for a back-end or Kelly? Hope you get yours soon. I know you're in a tough store. I think sometimes if you're in a really tough location, it's hard. Claudia says, thoughts on the Gypsy Air mini and bigger sizes. Again, please don't be offended if I don't like something. I don't like the Gypsy Air. I like the Maximals. I'm struggling here to find things that I like. I'm kidding. I like the Maximals. What else do I like? I'm just going through them here now. Oh, I like the Mador. I like the one from The Real where she was like, I don't know, but it's Hermes. I like that bag, the mini Mador. It's very cute. I think it's a really cute bag for going out. Because Big H doesn't have a lot of these going out bags. Lucy says 2 to 1, no bag. Sounds about right for my store. Yeah, it's competitive right now. Lyra says the Kelly Pochette may not be considered a coach bag in some places. Sure moves like one. It definitely moves like one because they make less of them. And a very celebrated designer created it. So Steph says Constance or Birkin for me. Constance is really nice. I saw a lady post a suede Constance on TikTok, like a TikTok video about the suede one. I have to say, I was very intrigued. I was like, it looks really good. Who's giving Hermes money for a doubless bag? That's the problem. It's just because you know how they're going to price their stuff. They're going to be like, girl, this is Hermes suede, so you need to pay this. I don't like the getter. Let me tell you things I don't like. Let's stop there. I do not like the getter. I remember many years ago when I first started posting the Hermes Paris content, there was a Glamazon who just come back from Paris. She said she went into the appointment. She got a lottery appointment. And she was like, can I have a Birkin 25? And she's like, I have this. Remember Bugs Bunny? Where Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck would be blinking like, have you lost your mind? Claudia says, why does the steeple bag exist? Exactly. They could get rid of a lot of these and make more aesthetically beautiful looking pieces. Because say what you want, but the Celine Triomphe is beautiful and it's very aesthetic. Again, say what you want. The Louis Vuitton Capucine is very aesthetic. So I just feel like Big H's bags, all of them are not aesthetic. Lyra says, I also feel like the Kelly's hard to get them back in. Yeah, I agree. I think right now the Kelly is like I think the Birkin Kelly trade places, but yeah, I think so too. Lucy says, do you guys like the Grizzly Birkin Teddy Kelly? I like them both. I think I think pieces like that are like super unique. And for me, just my opinion, like, I just feel like at this price point of Big H, I would rather get something like that, something which is more of a statement piece and it's more limited. Whereas I feel like there are other brands that do that classic look that looks just as beautiful for less money. So like Celine, Ferragamo, in my opinion, Dior, you know what I mean? For me, that's what I think. Because I think those like Grizzly Birkin, I think the Teddy Kelly would be great. How much does the password say the Teddy Kelly is? Because I saw someone had posted the price on here. Oh, I like the Veru. I'm struggling here to think of things that I like from this brand. How much is the Teddy Kelly? I think I told you guys, but there was someone on TikTok who was offered the Teddy Kelly at the St. Moritz boutique, but she bought a bracelet. Well, the Loverback says, what's crazy is I miss prices, many non-coast backs close to price of Constance Birkin Kelly. Yeah. And sometimes I feel like they're doing that on purpose now, which to me is insane. To me, the Bolide on wheels being $19,400 US is insane. Like the ball on wheels. Claudia, you beat me to it. I didn't see your comment. The Bolide on wheels is 20,000. Or why do I want one? I want someone to explain to me why that bag is $20,000. And again, to my American babes, you guys have those taxes that they add on afterwards. At least in France, it's including the VAT. Oliver Back says, because it's cute, LOL, Claudia, but 20,000. 20,000 is a huge chunk of cash. Again, hate to be that person, but Louis Vuitton has lots of great options as well. Yeah, I mean, look here, for example, the Constant Slim, just the Constant Slim in matte alligators, 11,000 euros. For reference, the Louis Vuitton Capucine in ostrich is like 7,000. And the Python Mini Lady Dior is like 6,500. That's the Constant Slim, and that's like an SLG. And of course, it's exotic, but still. Constant Salon in Epsom is 11,000 US dollars. That's a lot. The Cloutier, the Cloutier, the studded Constance, 30,400. So, you know, I think that these more special pieces, like the shoulder back in, I know that it's like a personal preference. Many people don't like how it looks. I think it looks really chic, and I think it looks really edgy and fashionable. I think it looks modern as well, but they're not for everyone. Says here, Picnic back in 25 in Baronia, 20,200 euros. Well, obviously, you need a profile for that. Claudia says, like a car, but impractical. Claudia says, someone else buy one so we can race or bleeze down a hill. That's a good one. That bag is a troll bag. I don't care what anyone says. That bag is a troll bag. And I mean, the prices of the exotics are crazy. This was something I wanted to tell you that I just noticed someone had posted. The back in 25 in shiny Croco in dollars is $63,100. That's a shiny back in 25 in Croco. 63,100. Lisa says, I wear the shoulder back and guard style quickly. People non get up, say. Okay, so. Lucy says, I worry the shoulder back and will go out of style quickly. Oh, guys, please like the video and press hearts. That was my husband. He was just popping out. Well, Loverback says, I was sticker shook. I bought a Kelly 25 box leather from the boutique. I couldn't even eat for the rest of the day. Have you guys heard of the new price? I tried to look it up before I went. I haven't seen the new price. Lucy says, 63K is crazy. The shiny alligator would be cheaper in store. Yeah, the shiny alligator would be cheaper. This is shiny Croco Porosas, but 63,100. Yeah, you're right. The shiny alligator is much cheaper because in euros, the alligator is 44,200. They did increase the price. The old price used to be 38.8. For reference, the Louis Vuitton Capucine in euros in the mini one is 20. I think it's 20,000 now for mini, and I think in dollars it's like 25,000 USD. And that is the Capucine in Croc, and it's really beautiful, just gorgeous, beautiful, gorgeous. Claudia says, "What bag are we taking to MS appointments or to MS in Paris?" Take a unique bag from another brand that shows you have taste, like something unique and different or something edgy. And I know it sounds strange, but like if you have a Capucine, I would take that. Or if you have like something, they competitor, it shows that you have discernment and taste, and you're not like a slave to their brand. That's just my opinion. It's just me. Well, Loverback says it was 18,200 plus 10% tax. Whew, those taxes, honey. Yeah, I mean, I just want MS to explain to me why the shiny crocodile Birkin 25 in dollars is 63,100 US dollars. I just want the ponytail to explain that to me. That's all. Lucy says the interesting thing about exotic price and resale going down, I saw some great ones for 50K, excellent conditions on resale. It's funny you say that. I saw a reseller in Paris who seems to be quite honest, and I don't think she's a scammer or anything. She had there's a really popular one that they're always putting on resale. The Birkin 25 in matte alligator in vert d'eau. She had that. And she had it for 60K from the boutique with the receipt from Faubourg. Not a fingerprint, not a hair, nothing. So it's interesting. Because at the store, that's like 44.2 euro. Don't forget, you have to pre-spend for that bag. And honestly, you're probably going to go, minimum, you're going to 0.5 to 1 for that bag, even in Paris, because that's a coveted piece in that size and that color. Love that bag, very pretty. Yeah, it's so beautiful, isn't it? Isn't it? I was just like, I was like, girl, you could just go and get it from her, it has the receipt. Someone was offered it in a leather appointment and was like, yo, I'm gonna flip this bad bitch right now. But like I said, the price point, there are a lot of great options, I think, at other brands as well, like for exotics or normal leathers and stuff like that. So just to Claudia's point about if you're going to Hermes for a leather appointment, I would take something else. Which bags are not worth playing the game for? For example, back in 35, you're better off buying resale. I said this on Instagram. I like the look of the new back in 35, the inside out one. Does anyone like that, or is that just me? I like that. But yeah, I agree. There's certain pieces that maybe I'm just not a resale person. And also, I feel like back in 35, you might be able just to get that for 1-to-1 just because it's so big. I feel like maybe even 0.5 because it's so big. If you have a back in 35, you're probably driving, or you have like a lifestyle that allows you, to drive. If you think of the bags that require the game, like the Disorder, let me see how much the Disorder is right now, if anyone has updated it. The Disorder. Lucy says, Claudia, IMO depends on your store location. Yeah, I agree. The Disorder, 16,100 USD in Epsom, in box leather, 16.6. And that's in box leather. And then in Epsom in America, 16,100 plus taxes. I love that bag. And that bag is a pre-spend bag. Like you're gonna play the game for that. Lucy says, you have to investigate what your store orders a lot because some stores might not order big size, so it might be harder. Oh, that's true. Love the Disorder. Saw one in the wild a few months ago. It's gorgeous. It's really, really a beautiful piece. It's on my wish list as well for this year. I don't like the price of it, but I think it's very special in box leather. 16,000 USD in Epsom, 16,600 euros in box. So Steph says, I just want some pink Oran sandals right now. When you get them, please post them because pink right now is like hard to find at the brand for some reason. It's like a unicorn color right now at Hermes. It's just like anything pink that they have. I mean, Tara at 50. Hello, Tara. Has anyone ever heard of someone walking in getting a blue box without pre-spend? I have heard of someone getting that Marqueterie Mini Kelly duck bag that we all hate, and every single one of you hate it because we've discussed it before. It's the Mini Kelly with the horse on it, and that says 24, which is overkill. And that person said that they got it at 1-to-1 pre-spending, which to me is equivalent of getting it without pre-spend, because to me, it's still a Mini Kelly. Everyone hates that bag. So yeah, of course they're going to give it to you for 1-to-1 because we all hate that bag. But other than that, I've never heard anything. Because I think some of their blue boxes are not desirable, but some are. Like the Disorder's a blue box, but it's desirable, right? People will pre-spend for it. So they're not going to give you that bag. They're going to be like, go bye. But the Marqueterie Mini Kelly with the horse with 24 on it, like, okay, we get it. And even with Louis Vuitton, now that Louis Vuitton has like calmed down from the Murakami mania, even with them, like they have increased prices a lot for sure as well. Like the prices of the special toiletry pouches have gone up so much from the first drop, and they think that we are not paying attention. We are very much paying attention, gal. Full Loverback says in US they added extra fee for tariffs. Mini Kelly, yeah, the Mini Kelly prices are not looking. Oh yeah, because okay, the Marqueterie Mini Kelly bag that we all hate, it's called Cheval de Bois Tadilat, 15,300 euro. Yeah, that's the equivalent of 1-to-1. Claudia says people using the big H toiletry pouches as bags. I don't get it. I'm just. Again, I think Louis Vuitton's toiletry pouches look much more elegant and much more chic. Me personally, if you're going to go down that route, I would take those, but I just, no. Let me stay quiet because I'm not going to get cancelled. You're not going to cancel me. I'm not going to be cancelled. Lisa says, I see a lot of people using the toiletry pouch on the beach. Right. And isn't that like the Princess Diana thing? Like she's the one who did that. Like when she was alive, she like used the toiletry pouch on the beach. That makes sense though. I saw someone using it at dinner recently. No, not dinner. I think you could take it out for like the Louis Vuitton ones, not the Hermes ones. The Louis Vuitton ones are much nicer. Okay, not the Hermes ones, like the Murakami toiletry pouch with cherries. That's like cool, whatever. You could go on a lunch date, but you wouldn't take that to dinner. That's a bit, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Is it just us or is it me or am I wrong or whatever? I feel the same way about people being like, the Birkin 25 is an evening bag. The Birkin 25 is not an evening bag. I remember seeing people fight about this on TikTok. Like, could you take the Birkin 25 to the opera? No, you can't. I'm sorry. No. An evening Hermes bag is like the Maximals, the Kelly Pochette, the Mini Kelly. Those are like evening ponytail bags, but I still think Chanel does evening bags better. Like the Chanel Minaudière. Like, remember I told you guys on Instagram, meeting like a group of Japanese people who were at the casino, and one of the ladies in the group had the Chanel perfume bottle Minaudière. And I was like, gorgeous. I was like this. It's completely different seeing it on someone in real life, because on the website, it looks so big. And in real life, it's just so ridiculously small on someone's body. You know what I mean? But that is an evening bag. Well, the lover bag says the smaller bags are easier to use day to night. They are appropriate for night. I think if you're going to like the opera or the ballet, to me, I don't know, tell me if I'm wrong, but to me, like taking the Birkin 25 to the opera or to the ballet, to me, comes across like again, just being myself, it comes across a little amateurish. I think you should take an actual like evening bag. It doesn't have to be designer. It could be something handmade from a market or something. It should be appropriate. It should be appropriate for where you're going. Or even better, a friend of mine was going on a date. She's dating and stuff. And she's like, what is a bag to take on a date? I said, if it's London, I even think the Chanel Classic Flap is fine to take on an evening date, but also it's a very nice bag and it does signal to the man that you have expensive taste. Now, some people would say, oh, you shouldn't show that you like really expensive things at the beginning. I actually think it's important for your future partner to know. So if he doesn't like women like that, everyone can go their separate ways. Lucy says, LOL, I agree. Lucy says a lot of people wear the Birkin inappropriately. 25, yeah, exactly. Lucy says classic flaps are great day to let him know he needs to pull his wallet out. Exactly. Because I guarantee you wear the classic flap on a date, he will pay. He's not going to be like, oh, do you want to split the bill? Please. It's a 10,000 euro, $10,000 handbag. Bye. Lucy says you should show, exactly. For the lover bag says I like 25 for daytime. 25 is fine for daytime, but it's not an evening bag. So the people on TikTok who are like, you could wear it to the opera. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, what? It's like the reel of, the people going to the Hermes fashion show and having no idea what they're wearing. Again, that reel, I would just be watching it for the rest of the week because it's just been making me laugh so hard. Ballet says, I really want the Chanel Maxi bowling bag or the large one. The large travel bag. Oh, yes. The large, the Chanel Maxi. Yes. I was out and about today. I went on a business meeting. I saw a woman at a restaurant where I was having a meeting. You know what she was carrying? The Louis Vuitton Boulogne bag. I haven't thought about the Boulogne bag in a long time, but seeing someone with the Boulogne bag was really interesting because it's very rare to see those bags here. It's rare. So when I see them, I take note of it. And I'm like, why does this bag look better on someone versus on the website? I have the website open now. It's always open. Really need to stop having it open. There's some things that just look better in real life versus on the website. Like, I'm not a belong person. I've never liked that bag, but it looked really nice on this lady. It's very nice. It was in the, it's this one here. She had the blonde PM in the classic monogram. I can see they also made a cherries version of it as well. I like that new cookie bag as well. And then just quickly to go back to exotics, like the point I was making about Louis Vuitton's exotics, like they have some really beautiful exotics right now. You know, I think if you're in the market for an exotic bag, the Birkin 25 and shiny crocodile in America being $63,000, you probably need to spend half of that just to get the bag. That's so much money to spend. Louis Vuitton has some really, really pretty ones. Claudia says, thoughts on Demna going to Gucci? I'm stressed. I don't like it. Oh, honestly, I'm stressed for Gucci because I really like the brand. They're going to go in a very different direction. You know, I've said it before, the brand is not the problem. It's the people running the brand. They need to stick to who the Gucci clientele is and stick to that and stop trying to be everything to everyone. You know what I mean? Stop trying to be everything to everyone. Just stick to what you can do and do it well. But I feel like they're just chasing trends and stuff. We'll see. You know, he seems to have, I mean, he didn't get fired from Balenciaga. The guy who owns Kering didn't sack him. I'm not a supporter of cancel culture, but that was a huge example of someone who should have been fired. Like, you 210% should have lost your job for that scandal. And I don't believe in cancel culture. I don't believe in telling people what they can and can't buy, because I don't want anyone to tell me what I'm allowed to buy, right? But at minimum, like, that scandal should have been enough. And then now it's like he's being rewarded with that scandal because Gucci's a much bigger brand than Balenciaga. It's a much bigger brand. They have more stores and make more money. Claudia says, Demna also gives me the ick. I haven't moved on from the horrible campaign. At the end of the day, they should have been accountability and ownership. In any other normal job, if that had happened at any other company, the person who's at the top would have lost their job. Think of wherever you guys work. Imagine you were like responsible for your company losing millions and millions of dollars, pounds, euros. You would have been fired. And yes, the brand has since rebounded. People have moved on, and that's fine. But like, yeah, let's see. Anyway, I still like Gucci though, so I'm still interested. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I hope it doesn't change too much, but you know how it goes. Like, to take some ownership for your part. And I think what was so shocking to me was so many people saw those pictures. So many people saw the children put in those pictures. It was really horrific. You know, I had got like a comment in an Instagram story. Someone was like, oh, thanks for like posting pictures of your son and not being weird about his face. I don't get the point of posting pictures of your kid and putting a heart over your child's face. To me, that's pointless. What I said to that person was, I'm not weird about it. I just think babies should grow into their faces. Spooky Boo 22, hi from Germany. Hello. Hello. So glad you're here. I'm not weird about people posting your kid. Just make sure that the child is clothed, because there are lots of weirdos and creepy people online who are like looking to see pictures of young children and babies and stuff. They knew better than to post those pictures. And you know what's so sad? So many people saw those pictures, but it took the internet melting down for them to take some ownership. I'm weird about the pictures I posted of my son, and he's completely clothed in all of the pictures. You know what I mean? There's a friend of mine who has fraternal twins, and she'd taken a picture on her Instagram of them like on a beach, and they were wearing like swimming costumes. They're like 10-month-old babies, right? And fraternal. So one is a boy, one's a girl. So obviously the girl was wearing like a swimming costume, but it was completely appropriate. And the boy is wearing swimming trunks. She said she felt super uncomfortable because so many people shared the picture. And I said, the problem is there are just too many people online looking for pictures of young people and young children. So for Balenciaga to post that as a campaign, imagine she has fraternal twins. I have a son, and we are both very intentional about the way we post. Claudia says it's not just, Validosa says shameful. I agree. Claudia says it's not just Demna. Think of all the people signed off who worked on the photo shoot. Exactly. That's my point. All of those people who saw that day, the people who dressed the children, the parents, frankly, who signed off on the pictures. Spooky Boo says, I'm a new subscriber. You look like my bestie Femi when she was younger, LOL. Oh, thank you. Like your content. Oh, thanks so much. Glad you're here. Yeah, exactly. So, with again, like I said, for me, I don't support cancel culture. I don't think you should tell people what they can and can't buy. But Demna, please leave Gucci alone. I could handle you being at Balenciaga, but now you're coming over to Gucci and you're going to ruin Gucci and you're going to do something annoying. Gucci's a much bigger brand than Balenciaga. It would not be able to withstand a scandal like that, considering that the brand needs all the help it can get right now. So let's see what happens, you know? I feel like there was no accountability. Like I said, if that was a normal job, you would have been fired. Think in any normal company where someone works, losing your company $100 million. You're fired. Get the fuck out of here. Instead, it's like, you're hired and we're going to give you a bigger responsibility. The fashion industry is so corrupt. I'm sorry. Claudia says, meanwhile, Big H is selling us Pegasus Fantasyland. I can get behind that any day of the week. Big H is selling the girls of fantasy because she's loaning influencers bags at Fashion Week and they don't know the name of said bags. Okay, I remember a while ago, I was speaking to a Glamours and Who. I know she's okay with me sharing the story. She was talking about going to shop at Faubourg once and how there were like lots of famous people in the store that day, and she felt like she was kind of being ignored because there were so many famous people in the boutique that day and no one really like was trying to help and stuff. And she said that she felt like the elitism from playing the game was one thing, but the elitism in Paris, she felt like was on another level. Like if they don't know you, they ignore you. And I'm like, that's how these brands make their money. It does feel very elite. It does feel very like, you know, you're not in the crowd. For me, I don't care about that. But I think if you're someone who like cares about that, it can mess with your head. Spooky Boo 22 says people forget so quickly. I know by Balenciaga. I think now that he's leaving now that he's left Balenciaga, there'll be people who'll be able to go back. What I don't understand is how you were not fired. That's all I want to know. Like, why were you not fired? Like, if any of us had done that at our job, we'd be sacked. You know, and like I said, considering all the people who are like looking for creepy pictures of children, and then found those creepy pictures of children at a massive luxury brand, that was very disappointing. Spooky Boo 22 said, I'll be embarrassed to carry Balenciaga. Yeah, I don't think Balenciaga as a brand should be punished though, because Cristobal Balenciaga himself was a really iconic pioneering designer. And I don't think his legacy should be punished because of Demna, right? Because I think we need to be careful that we're not like doing collective punishment. You know what I mean? Because that I think that's a kind of collective punishment. But at the very least, Demna should have been fired, yes. And he should not be the creative director of Gucci. Lucy says the scary thing is an entire team signed off on it. Exactly. Lucy says Demna, I keep saying Demna. Balenciaga really fell off as a result of the situation. Yeah, exactly. So to save the brand, they're like, okay, cool, you can leave. But instead, we're going to reward you with an even bigger brand. What? We'll see his first collection. I think it's spring, summer 2026. So that'll be October. So let's be a busy time. There'll be a lot of debut collections. I think the new designers of Jill Sander, there's already a new designer for Celine, so we'll see his show. We'll see Jonathan Anderson's work for Dior for women's, his first collection. We'll see Matthew Blasey. Claudia says Champs-Élysées Louis Vuitton is the worst Louis Vuitton walk-in client experience. Change my mind. I'm going to Vendôme next time. Try and make an appointment. Vendôme is a good experience. I went to Vendôme. It's really good. And Vendôme, I think Vendôme is a good place to go and drop a ton of money because I think you can build relationships there, even as a tourist. I got the feeling like if you're a tourist, like they want to build relationships with like high spending tourists. Definitely. Champs-Élysées Louis Vuitton is horrible. I agree. Horrible. And the essays there do not care because they're never going to lose their job or get fired. Like they're absolutely not getting fired. And I think that the problem with the Champs-Élysées Louis Vuitton boutique is, Claudia says I waited for an hour inside the store to be seen by an essay. That's after waiting outside. I think that that Louis Vuitton is not a good experience for walk-ins, and I think it's definitely somewhere to make an appointment. I made an appointment there once, and it was a better experience, but the SA was kind of rude. Whereas I feel like Vendôme is a much better experience. Lucy says, "OMG, that's awful." Claudia says, "I think there's just so much foot traffic. Individual experiences doesn't matter." Yeah, there's too much. There are too many people there, so it's like if you have a horrible experience, they're like, "Meh, don't really care," because they're like 5,000 people. You know, like thousands and thousands of people milling through the boutique every day. There's another one that is said to be really good, the Saint Germain boutiques. I'll check that one out on my next trip, and also the Avenue Montaigne store. People have said it's also really nice. Those are a little bit smaller, so they'll have less inventory, but like the treatment will be a little bit better. Claudia says they don't care. Ballet Dancer says, "Oh my." Claudia says they don't care, or they are logistically overwhelmed, but then there are many people standing around. Oh, there are people there who, at least from what I remember of that particular store, they're just like, milling around or whatever. But I also feel like they have a lot of people standing around in case someone walks in and spends like 50,000 euros, 100K, even 25,000. So sometimes like those people who come in and drop a ton of money, they'll have 2 or 3 SAs just handling one person. Spooky Boo 22 says, "I was in England last weekend, bought a new Gucci bag in Manchester because the service is A1. Manchester is a great place. Oh, what a great city. Wonderful." Lucy says brands all need to do a better job managing walk-in clients. I think they have a disdain for walk-in customers. Because even if you watch like my dragging videos, there is a disdain for walk-in clients. I don't like making appointments. I don't like monopolies on my time, but for the next trip, I'm going to have to. Because if you don't make an appointment, they're kind of like, even Cartier, even the jewelry girls. Remember my experience at the Champs-Élysées Cartier? She's like, "Girl, are you buying today?" And I was like, I don't know how many times I need to tell you, but I am buying something today. It's either going to be a love ring or it's just on clue ring. But I'm buying something today. Like, I don't know how many times I had to tell her, but my husband was like, it's because they get too many people coming in to film videos and not buy anything. And he would be right. Because I feel like they feel like if you're walking, you're not buying anything. Claudia says, "I would love to just have a go-to CA in Paris, but you have to start somewhere by walking in the store." Yeah, I agree. And also the problem with Paris is like Louis Vuitton CAs get paid more than big H CAs, from what I was told. But the salaries are not particularly high. So there is not an incentive to create phenomenal service because they are not incentivized by commissions over there because their contracts are guaranteed. And French labor laws are very specific. They're not allowed to work overtime, for example. There are some things which are legal. So when people complain in dragging videos that they close the store early, they're not allowed to keep those people around unless they're going to pay them. So I think it's really hard to build relationships in Paris for that reason, because a lot of the SAs are just like, well, I don't really care because I'm not really being paid enough to care. I think Louis Vuitton pay their luxury SAs I think they pay them like 2,500 euros a month, 2,500, 2,700. Hermes pay their SAs 2,000, 2,200 euros a month. I mean, that's not a lot of money to give a toss about building relationships with clients. So I think that they should definitely consider creating a commission structure for these people. Yeah, euro. Louis Vuitton CAs are paid more than big H CAs. But while that is low, their jobs are guaranteed. So many of you are in the States. In America, you guys have at-will employment where someone can be fired at any given time. In France, you can't fire. You can't just go and sack someone. That's why sometimes in dragging reviews from France, people are like, "Oh, I'm going to call your manager." The essay is like, "Call the manager. Call the manager. I'm not getting fired." You know what I mean? The person's not losing their job. Whereas for those of you in the States, you guys have at-will employment. Same thing in London. They're very strict labor laws. You can't just call the manager and get someone fired. That's not how it works in Europe. So while the salaries are low, the job security is guaranteed. Claudia says, "What's your favorite big H store in Paris?" Oh, Well, it's definitely not George Sank. It's definitely not George Sank, honey. Claudia says call the manager, but call the manager is like I'm calling the police. I think right now I like for Borg a bit more because I think that there are better opportunities to build connections there. Severus has not worked out for me. For Loverback says, if they know you're buying, they treat you different. My hubby went to VCA, they said no appointments. He said, I have the cash, I want to buy this, let him in. Yeah, but he's a man. He's a man. It's not comparable. You can't compare an experience a man has. Men are treated better. The amount of experiences that my husband has had where he has just walked in, not been dragged. But we as women, if you're a woman alone, I think that they're just more suspicious of women, whereas I feel like luxury brands do still have that kind of old school mentality where men would be the ones dominantly making the purchases. So I think it's just easier for them to defer to men, irrespective of whether it's the US or France or the UK or Australia and places like that. Men are just treated better, especially in a jewelry brand. Spooky Boo said, if your house was on fire and you could save one bag, which one would you save? Well, let's do it this way, because I need to build up my handbag collection. If I had a luxury item and I could save it, what would I save? Honestly, I would save this, the love ring. I would save this. I would save my love ring. I would actually save jewelry, because I have a bunch of jewelry over here in this Louis Vuitton box. I would save this. And honestly, I would save like artwork, like that art piece there, because I feel like that matters. To me, jewelry and art would matter more than a handbag. For the Lover Bag says, yes, and he was by himself. Yeah, men are just treated better. And it's a jewelry store where men traditionally have always been the ones to buy jewelry. So they see a man alone, they're going to treat him better. My husband went into a Rolex AD in Paris and had like a Louis Vuitton shopping bag, and they rolled out the red carpet for him. They took his business card, they Googled his company. They were like, oh, let's stay in touch. We'll, chase up with you. And next time you're in town, come, whatever. He's on his own. You think if one of us had gone there as women, you think that they would have done that for us? They'd be like, go, bye. Ballet says, good answer. Thank you. Lucy says artwork. Yes. Yeah. Let's say artwork, and jewelry. Because to me, they just have more sentimental value. Clothes can always be replaced. Claudia says, never underestimate a clueless man at Big H. Facts. Lucy says, have you decided when you're going to Paris? I'm thinking about stopping by early September, worried about tourists. Hopefully gone by then. We're going to go at some point this year. It's probably going to be more autumn, winter. I think I'm just waiting for my son to get a little bit, just to grow in a little bit more. He's getting more independent now. So I think it'll be like autumn, winter. September is absolutely fine. And that's like a good time in terms of weather. But it's always busy there. It's just so busy. I would go, September's a nice time to go. September's a nice time to go, for sure. Gloria says, training her hubby to go play the game. Yeah, my husband wants nothing to do with this brand. He literally, he thinks it's morally bankrupt what they do. So he's like, I want nothing to do with this brand. He's like, I will tolerate you going there, but I want nothing to do with them. I'm like, cool. And I said it before, but don't send your husband, if he's moody or snarky, to Big H. Because your husband or boyfriend being really irritated, that was something I saw on the previous trip. Lots of angry, annoyed looking boyfriends and husbands. Spooky says, do you like Harrods? Love Harrods. Love Harrods. Great, great department store. I was there on my previous trip in 2023. Lucy says, my husband thinks we're all crazy too, LOL. Claudia says, just avoid Fashion Week because bag inventory is bad. Fashion Week this year is in October. It's in the first week of October, I think, yeah. Lucy says everything is available on resale. Time is money. Yeah, but then that store experience, the store experience. Ballet says, Ballet's laughing. Yeah, I mean, he thinks it's completely morally bankrupt and he wants no part of it. Whole other bag says, my hubby thinks that H game is crazy, wouldn't play it. Yeah. Yeah. So again, it's just to me, I just prefer the in-store experience. I'm an in-store person. I know many of you are too. I personally would just rather do the in-store thing, and I'm patient. I can wait a long time. I'm in no rush. So however long it takes is what it take not that serious. That's why my patience is very long. Some people would be like, well, I would just go resell. Well, I don't want a resell experience. I want the store experience. And it doesn't matter how much resellers try, they can't replicate that in-store experience. Lucy says, spoken like a true tourist. That's what I'm saying. I mean, come on, I'm a tourist, girl. Like, this is what we're like. We are all about the real deal. Like, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna take second best. That's just not what we're about. And it's fine. If you're a resale person, it's fine. There was a Magnolia Mini Kelly that was like, this lady was selling in Paris. It looked really nice. It was 32K, but I was like, girl, it's Magnolia. For leather bags, as most men aren't into it. Yeah, he is not. Tanya, hi Kim, hope you're doing well. Hello, Tanya, good to see you. Good to see you guys. Guys, please like the video and stuff. Spooky says, going to Ingolstadt Village tomorrow, biggest luxury. The biggest luxury outlet in Germany. In Germany, right? I'm excited. Oh, that's exciting. Bottega Veneta have their flagship store next to the Hermes Faubourg. So I'll definitely check it on the next trip as well. On this previous trip, I remember walking past it thinking, I want to go in there and see like if they have anything interesting. One of the things is like, you need to think about the things that you like and not the things that like you see people posting on social media. I know many of you don't like the shoulder backing. I quite like the shoulder backing because I drive everywhere, right? So I quite like the idea of that. And then now Cartier have changed that ridiculous Pave bracelet, which is such a disappointment. I was so disappointed about the bracelet. I told my husband about it. And he's like, okay, but you're saving 48,000 euros. I'm like, yeah, but the bracelet. Lucy says, not sure if any of you like Roberto Cavalli, but they're having a great sale. Just snagged a gorgeous pair of shoes for 60% off. Ooh, really? I like Cavalli. He's doing super interesting things at Beyonce's tour lately. Monarch says, so true, my in-store experience was priceless. I have that wonderful experience getting my first back-in. Okay, awesome. Lucy says, I just like the new Pave Love. Yeah, I really dislike it. Okay, like I don't know what on earth they were thinking. It's such a cash grab. It's such a cheap move. It's so cheap for them to do it. Claudia says, have considered Bottega Veneta, but notice they don't hold value. How's durability? Is anyone a big fan? Does anyone have a Bottega Veneta bag? I think that they are just really beautifully. They look very beautiful. They look very unique. And I think they're very stylish. And that's why I was saying, to this whole point about resale. What I don't like about resale, I don't think any of these bags have any inherent value anyway, because they're based on people's opinions on fashion. So people are more inclined to have the same opinions so that their fashion goods have value versus someone picking something because they like how the Andiamo looks or they like how the Constant looks. Does that make sense? Ballet Dancer says the Chanel mini bag with the hook is not a bag, it's more of an SLG. It's adorable. Is that from the new collection? Did I post that bag? Well, the Lover Bag says I love those shoes. Lucy says I don't have a Bottega Veneta. I almost bought the Andiamo, but I didn't because it was one handle at the top. Yeah, the Andiamo is just. Let me go on the website now. So I really like that bag. And they've been increasing it in price. It's been going up in price. Spooky says I was in Hong Kong last week and luxury brands are actually everywhere. Yeah, absolutely. Bottega Veneta. Lucy says, do you guys like the new Chanel 25? I like it on other people from what I've seen. I like it, yes. I think that brands need to decide what, like I was saying, in terms of, I don't know, in terms of like value, like I was saying, that's why I feel like none of these things have any value. Because I think if you say you're only going to buy something that you think that other people value, it kind of stops people from having their own personal style, That's why, like, for example, I'm in this one jewelry group and someone was saying she wanted to buy the Pave Love bracelet, the Holy Grail piece for me at resale, but she didn't want to buy it if someone had put an inscription in it. And I was like, why do you need to buy it and then resell it later? Because even if you need the money, you're not going to get what you pay, right? Because it's a branded piece of jewelry. It's not like loose. It's not like it's like the loose jewelry or the loose gems. So I think people need to think more clearly about why they're buying something. because that's 48,000 euros. I think in America it's about $50,000. The one that she had posted was like $37,000 and it had been worn a few times. It had like very minor scratches. So I was kind of like, me personally, I don't understand that way of thinking, only because you're a human being. And particularly like with my love ring, it has so many scratches already, but it looks really nice on me, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I hope that makes sense. I just don't understand that. I don't understand like trying to kind of make these things. It's trying to make these things like they're pieces of art. They're not. I'm sorry, they're not. It's not a Vermeer. It's not a Rembrandt. It's not a Basquiat. You know, and I think we've talked about this in lives before. Like, if you have something from Marie Antoinette, or you have something that Princess Diana owned, which obviously you don't, because Prince William and Prince Harry have those things have inherent value because they were owned by a really famous person. Full Loverback says, I love the Chanel 25, but don't own it. Chanel's getting so expensive. Ballydan says Chanel's definitely getting more and more expensive. Facts. Lucy says, I don't mind scratches, but I would never buy an item with someone else's initials on it unless they're the same as mine. Yeah, I agree. I agree with not buying that, but I think that the person in the group wasn't being realistic. In her case, she should go to the store because she wanted to get a Pave Love bracelet that didn't have an inscription and didn't have scratches. Most of the ones at resale have scratches or inscriptions in them. And someone's selling it because they need the money. That bracelet is a very special piece. It's a statement piece. No one is selling it unless they need the money. And that's fine. Everyone has a different situation. There are all kinds of things that can happen in one's life, and you may need to sell it to get some cash. But like, I wouldn't buy it with the hope that you can sell it later. Tanya says, I don't understand it either. Buying with the intention to sell later. Who says anyone will want it in the state it's in after X amount of years and scratches? Exactly. And also, some people are just different. They don't polish their diamonds. Like, that's a Pave bracelet. How often are you going to polish it? I wanted to tell you the I may buy instead if I don't like the way the new Pave one looks on the neck grip. I'll just tell you guys the name, and then if you can Google it. It's from Messika. Let me pull it up. Lucy says Chanel prices have gotten silly. Lucy says she's going to be real mad when her Pave bracelet new install gets his first scratch. Facts, LOL. So Steph says they just put, oh wow, they just put out Messika and Nordstrom, their full Pave bracelets and they're 20,000. I am just obsessed with this brand, girl. When I tell you that I'm obsessed, it's way too much. So there are two bracelets I was thinking, maybe I could get them instead. One is the Cartier Juste Clou Pave bracelet in yellow gold, and the other is this Messika one. The Messika one obviously is much more affordable. Let me just show you guys. Let me pull up the name. Yeah, here it is. It's the Move Noah SM Pave Bangle. It's 13,700 euros. And then they have the large one, which is like 18,900. Lucy says 20K is a total steal. Yeah, it's gorgeous. It comes in yellow gold, white gold. So I was thinking about maybe getting this, the Move Noah SM Pave Bangle. Maybe after this live, I'll post it on Instagram for those of you who support. And it comes in yellow gold, white gold, rose gold. And then they have the larger version, which I think is meant to compete with the Love bracelet. And that's 18.9. These are Pave, just like the Love bracelet, but not all the way around. It's really a sensational piece. So I was thinking about maybe getting this one instead. I just hate the way the new one looks. I don't understand why they did this. Anyway, I need to stop complaining about it. My husband was like, no one cares. I'm like, I don't care that no one cares. How about that? My man's like, no one cares. I'm like, I don't care that no one cares. Okay. Claudia says, I was thinking of buying the pre-loved Bottega Veneta, so it's much cheaper. I noticed they're pretty beat up. I worry about quality. I think that is something to buy brand new, because I just think of the intricatio weaving. I don't feel like people who are putting it on resale are taking care of those bags to protect the way that weaving looks, me personally. Tanya says it's super pretty. Isn't it? So you've seen this one I'm talking about here. Move Noah SM Pave Bangle. Comes in white gold, yellow gold, and rose gold. I would get it on her Instagram, on Messika's Instagram, on Messika, the lady, Valerie Messika, she posted it once in like yellow gold, super pretty. And on the company's website as well. It's just, I think that this would be a good one for me maybe to start with. just in case the larger Pave bangle doesn't look good, because on the European website, the original Pave bangle is gone. Bibbity bobbity boo, she's gone. So they have replaced her. And according to what people have said, once they sell every single old Pave bracelet, they're never bringing it back again, the love one. Again, it's just, again, the disgusting new one is on the website here. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Tanya says very elegant. Okay, cool. Glad you think that. I'm so disappointed. Anyway, these are not real problems, but still. Lucy says, would you buy any of the Hermes fine jewelry bracelets? I'm definitely buying a piece of fine jewelry for this trip because I need to wrap up this stuff. I like them, but I just don't like the price. Do you guys know the Ash Donkra Pave bracelet? If you put Hermes Ash Donkra Pave diamond bangle, it'll come up. It's a diamond bangle with the ash, with the H in the middle. It's very nice. It's full Pave, but it's 38,000 euros. I think in America it's like $42,000. I mean, it's giving Juste un Clou Pave prices. Cartier Love Bangle Pave prices. Imagine buying that and you don't get a bag the same day. Houston, we have a problem. The rocket's not coming back to Earth. Ballet dancers laughing. Claudia says, thinking of dipping my toes into pre-love. Has anyone had any luck? Strong perspectives. I worry about super fakes. Guys, can anyone answer Claudia's question? Because I'm terrified of fakes. And that reminds me, Cartier is the most faked jewelry brand in the world, FYI. To anyone who's thinking about buying something pre-loved from Cartier, it is the most faked jewelry house in the world. Lucy says, I agree. Lucy says, I don't own any H bracelets for this reason. Some of the rings are nice, not worth the price. If I'm buying it, to be honest, I'm buying it for a bag offer. So I think I would have to be very clear. Like, I'm going to buy this. I like the Kelly Gavroche ring on the website. I think in America it's 10,000 USD, and on the European website it's like 8,800. But honestly, I like Louis Vuitton's fine jewelry aesthetically more than I like the Ponytail's fine jewelry. Me personally, like the Idyll Blossom line, I think is very nice and very chic. There are lots of super cute pieces. There's a piece that I've been stalking. Again, for the next trip. Everything is like just saving all my money for the next trip. I don't know if you guys have seen this piece. It's called the Color Blossom bracelet. Let me pull it up and read out the title, just for those of you who can see. It's so beautiful. It's really pretty. Oh, here it is. Color Blossom BB Star Bracelet in pink gold with white mother of pearl, 2,350 euros. I saw this at the previous trip at the Louis Vuitton Vendôme store, and I thought it was really gorgeous and really cute. So I'm also going to stalk this as well. At the end of the day, I'm really disappointed about the Cartier stuff, but I was speaking to a Glamazon who said, why don't I make an appointment at Cartier and tell them I want to buy the old bracelet, and they can search the entire country to see if any of the stores have the old one. Lucy says, at Claudia, try to identify the best independent authenticator of the brand you're looking for. Chanel, it's Zecco. Yeah, Zecco is the gold standard for Big C. Absolutely. While Hermes, it's Baba Baby. Yep, that's true. Hermes is Baba Baby. Lucy says they're likely to have some pieces of the old stock still. That's a great idea. Tanya says that's a great idea. Yeah, so I was thinking about maybe doing that. But still, Tanya, because you'd seen, I think Lucy saw this as well, but this Move Noah SM Pave Bangle, I think is a great piece as well. So I was thinking about maybe I'll buy this. Maybe I could try, because I'm not a white gold person, but I feel like if I was going to explore white gold, I'd rather explore white gold at like Messika's price point, and then I could buy like the yellow gold Pave at the Cartier price point, if I may. I hope that this isn't boring to anyone. Is anyone bored by this? If you want to bring up another topic, just drop it in the comment below. I really love this Move Noah SM Pave Bangle, 13,700, and then the larger one is 18,900. Claudia says, question, does LV consider you important client or global profile? Aggregate or based on your local store? It is based on your local store, and Louis Vuitton is very weird about stuff like this. And Louis Vuitton CAs, from what I've been told, are very protective of their clients. So let's say, for example, you're a top client in New York, but you want to shop in Paris. Get your Louis Vuitton CA to make the appointment for you in Paris, so that if you spend a lot of money, they'll get credit. But what you shouldn't do is, let's say you have a Louis Vuitton CA in your home store, You shouldn't go and shop in another Louis Vuitton in another country and spend a lot of money there without letting them know that you want to make an appointment. It's fine for you to go spend the money, but they would want the credit for bringing you to that store. They look at it based on your actual store. It's not based on aggregate like spending. So like, let's say you spend 100K in New York, you spend 200K in Paris, you spend 300 in London, that would make you 400K per annum. But as far as they're concerned, you're not a top client because you're not loyal to one boutique. Lucy says, Move Noah is super beautiful. White gold is nice for being extra dressy. Yeah, so that's what I was thinking, because I'm kind of getting into that. So I just wanted to just quickly mention something now that Cartier have destroyed my heart and dreams with this disgusting, and it's such a cheap move from them. It's so cheap to me, you know, and you know, it's probably some annoying troll who's like, you know, let's like make it better. We can improve it. You can't improve a Rembrandt. You can't improve a Vermeer. You cannot improve a Da Vinci. Can't. Okay, so just super quick, just want to show you guys something. Do you guys know the Pave Justin Clou ring? I tried it on the previous trip as well. That's fully Pave, but just one. It's just one roll, not the one that's two. That one's really nice. So I was also thinking about that. Okay, so the Pave bracelets here, these ones look the same. They haven't been destroyed yet. Maybe they'll destroy them eventually. Lisa says, I have that ring. Oh, so beautiful. Tony says, I like the smooth one as well. The Sizzle one upsets my brain. Yeah, I don't know why they decided to do that one that's like two. Why did they do that? I'm still struggling to understand. Okay, so if I can, if I'm not bothering any of you, the Justin Clou Pave bracelet, 51,000 euros. There's also this one, which on the website doesn't look particularly like impressive, but I did see it at the store, like on display, and wow, like those diamonds really sparkle. So maybe something like that. Because I just feel like this time around, I want to get fewer pieces, but more impactful pieces. So grail pieces, and stay focused on getting grails. So getting my clothes bag at Big H, shopping at Cartier, going to Audemars Piguet, and also trying out like Ferragamo, Bottega Veneta, Haya, Versace, Moschino. Not getting distracted, okay? And I'm definitely going to consider maybe the Capucine and Croc or Ostrich. We'll see. And I had a good experience at Dior last time. They have some very beautiful exotics, so I'll check them out. So this next trip in autumn, winter, there'll be lots of great content for you guys because I'm going to be much more focused this time. Like not getting distracted. The problem with Paris and London and New York and Dubai and places like that is like there is so much stuff to buy. And then sometimes you're like, oh my God, it's that. Lucy says there's just Justin Clou Pave bracelet. It's kind of pricey. It is expensive. How much is this in dollars? I think it's like 50,000 USD. Let me check how much it is in dollars. Ballet says I can't wait. Okay, great. I'm glad. Because I have some great content for you guys. Getting distracted is so fun. Yeah. And the problem is like now I have a nanny and stuff. Like we'll see. Maybe she'll come on the trip. We'll see whatever. But like it's like I'm just constantly thinking about all these like nice, beautiful things. And there's so many things. And on this trip, as I said, I'll go to Van Cleef and Arpels as well. Tanya says, getting distracted is so fun. Lucy says the white gold Pave still includes 52,000 USD. Let me check the American side. Why is that dollar price triggering right now? I'm triggered. This is someone's whole salary. For the love of bags, croc capucine. Oh, yes, the crocodile capucines are so gorgeous. So also the capucines as well. They're also in my list. Do you guys, actually wait, no, because they've taken that capucine off the website. Let me find that capucine with the code and tell you it's really pretty. Gold Pave just includes 48.2 in America. By the way, the Pave love bracelet is still in America, okay? It's just such a disappointing move for them. It's such a cheap. I never got the feeling that Cartier was like a cheap brand that they want to be really cheap with their clients, but to me, it's very cheap. Very, very cheap move from them. Again, they don't care what I think, and I don't care that they don't care. Oh my God, shit, they've taken it off the website. Oh shit. They're taking the Pave bracelet off the website in America. Again, cheap, disgusting move so they can upload that new ugly one. Disgusting. I think it's hard to build relationships with SAs in tourist cities. It's really hard. I think it's really, really hard. I've heard of some people trying to build relationships, like international shoppers from Asia trying to build relationships in New York. And all of them are like massive spenders. They're like people spending like 20,000, 30,000. You said you not get distracted just in case I'm going to offer you back. Yeah, I'm not getting distracted this time around because I've just, all the times I go get distracted. This time around, I'm not getting distracted. So I have a plan. I've written my plan in my Louis Vuitton refill notebook. I have a plan. I'm sticking to the plan. I'm saying it on the live so that you can hold me accountable. My plan is simple. Hermes Coach bag. Try and get an appointment at Audemars Piguet if I still have cash. Louis Vuitton. Cartier diamonds, Messika diamonds. I want to, and I also would like to find a jeweler, like maybe someone who's just a jeweler. And I'm not a Goyard person, but I like Giuseppe Zanotti. He's next door to the Goyard boutique, so I'd love to pass by there and have a look at some of his shoes. I'm more of a Zanotti person than I am a Louboutin person. I'm a Zanotti girl. I think his shoes are beautiful, very aesthetically beautiful, and they look more comfortable. For Lover Bag says, I'm so excited for you. Thank you. It'll be at some point this autumn, winter, baby. So I'll be traipsing around Paris with him. So looking forward to that. But he likes being out and about. He loves people. He's very social. So I think he'll be fine. Tanya says, what's on your Hermes wish list? On my shrine? Yeah, no, not at all. Okay, so my Hermes wish list this time around is pretty much more of the same. So Mini Kelly, Kelly Disorder, Kelly Pochette, shoulder back in 29. So I'm hopeful and prayerful that I can get any one of those in any leather, but I want to be ready just in case the exotic Birkin or Kelly offer comes through. And then to show loyalty, I'm willing to buy a Constance and I'm willing to buy a Maximals. I will be willing to pull the trigger on the Maximals, particularly now that I've known it's like 5,400. I'm willing to buy it to like show loyalty and stuff as well. But definitely it's like the shoulder Birkin, the Mini Kelly, the Kelly Pochette, the Kelly Disorder, Birkin 25, Kelly 25, that's fine, as standard. And I like the look of that new Birkin 35 that was on the previous catwalk show that's like inside out. I do like that. Ballet Dancer said, at least you know the names because of the reel on Pop Talk. I don't know, but I just know that this is Hermes. Sorry. And to that person who said that, I'm sorry, we're not being mean laughing at you. It's just really funny to me. I think it should be an audio. Claudia says, what's your strategy in Big H this time around? This time around, I'm not going to George Sank. I'm not going to waste time in George Sank. I'm going to go to Faubourg and Sèvres and I will buy a really expensive piece of fine jewelry. I don't want to buy a ton of stuff and have lots of boxes. I just want to buy something small. That's very expensive and then go from there. If I'm not successful in the 2 Paris stores, I'll try in Monte Carlo. So this is like an exclusive thing I've been working on. So you guys are first to know. If I'm not successful in Paris, I'll go to Monte Carlo and try. But I think I'll be successful this time around because I'm not wasting time at George Sank. It's just never worked out for me there. Tanya says, any color preferences? Pink. Come on, girl. For the Disorder, I could take a box leather Disorder. Pink, obviously. Come on. I mean, look. Lucy says, tell them you're an influencer, probably getting special treatment. Girl, the way influencers just like pretend they don't buy anything. There's one British influencer who like, she always makes it seem like she gets every single thing. She never buys anything. And I'm just like, can you stop lying to people? Seriously. For Lover Bag, if you come in hot buying jewelry, you'll find your appointment. Yeah, I agree. So that's what I'm going to do this time. I don't have time to do anything else. And I'm not going to George Sank. It just hasn't worked out. And it's not shade against George Sank. I just want you guys to know I'm not like a George Sank hater or anything. It just, that store has never worked out for me. At least Sèvres, I got an SA to help me. Faubourg, I still think you can churn something there. It's just never worked at George Sank for me. I will only go there if I get the online appointment. But my cousin will also be playing the game with me, and my husband will do the lottery as well. But he's not going to the store because he's not doing that. Monica says, I love the Maximals bag, third bag on my wish list. Yeah, the Maximals is also there. Tony says a pink mini Kelly would be to die for. Yeah, exactly. In like 5p bubble gum, something like that. Or an exotic. I think, I don't know if they're doing Rose Tyrion this year. I don't think they are. I'm not sure. But then obviously also I'll be going to Louis Vuitton. And like I said, I think it's hard to build relationships. To me anyway, I don't know how you guys feel about it. I think it's really hard to build relationships in Paris, like unless you're spending at a certain level. So I think if you come in really hard and you like spend really high, I think it's easy to like build relationships there. But it's very hard, I think, otherwise. Like you need to like go in really hard. But because I won't be respectfully to George Sank, again, if I get an appointment at George Sank, I'll eat my hat. But I've never got an appointment. So, but because I won't waste any time going to George Sank, I think it'd be better that way. I can like put my energy into those two boutiques and then see what happens. I'll probably try it FSH first and then have my cousin try it separate, and then we'll see who gets far. For the lover bag says in exotic, I was afraid of exotic, now open to it. Exotics are really beautiful and they're very different. Different leathers have a different look. Louis Vuitton are doing some very interesting things with their crocodile skins and their lizard skins right now. Everything is looking really good. And particularly this year, it's been a quiet year for the luxury brands. So it'll be interesting to see whether they're a little bit more willing to work with people. Lucy says, would you ever consider shopping in Dubai? Yes. I know it's competitive, but they claim they're direct there. Yes. And also Dubai is just 3 hours away from Dar es Salaam, where I live. So that is definitely somewhere I would try, maybe next year. Maybe after this like European jaunt, we can see how I've done. I would definitely try there because it's like a 3.5 hour flight, 4 hour flight. So in Dar es Salaam, there are 3 flights a day. Theoretically, I could go there and come back home the next day. So that's very attractive because it's very close by. It's super competitive, but to be honest, I think the directness is just something I prefer. I'm just sick of the like, guys, we don't buy anything. Like if you watch the dragging video, the previous one I did now, the lady who asked for the Constance in Rome and was told no. If she had like bought things first, then at the end before to pay, it'd been like, because the problem is like you can't buy the bracelet unless they offer you the bag, right? You can't buy it. So for example, I'm just giving an example. Let's say, I'm speaking out loud. Let's say I go to Monte Carlo, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to try that. Let's say I buy a really expensive bracelet. That's like 20,000, 25,000 euros. You can't pay for the bracelet until you have made sure that the SA can churn the bag for you. They know that. That's why they trick people. Remember in one of my other dragging videos, someone was tricked at the Saint-Tropez store. She shopped with an SA and he said, yeah, come back on Monday, knowing he wouldn't be there on Monday. You know? Lucy says Dubai seems to get beautiful inventory too. Oh, yeah, and they seem to get great colors. For Loveback says, I do think they're unicorn stories, but they're rare. They're very, very rare. And like, they're not happening in Europe. Maybe in America or whatever, but they're not happening in Europe. They're not happening in Europe, for sure. And also, you have to understand, with unicorn stories, it is more likely to hear them because the people who have unicorn stories are more likely to come forward, right? And another thing is, I think it's disingenuous to be like, and this is what a lot of Pegasus unicorns do. They'll be like, I had a unicorn experience, but it was 10 years ago. No one cares about your unicorn experience, even from 2020. It's completely irrelevant to today. So that's why I always tell people, like, it's not good to mention it because I think it kind of distorts people's experience. So that person who went to the Rome store, she probably heard a unicorn experience, but instead went there and got dragged and embarrassed. Tanya says no swiping until the bag's in front of you. Yeah, seriously, because you could get tricked. Lucy says, I think pre-COVID, it was a lot easier. Yeah, for sure. And COVID is like 5 years ago. I mean, that's half a decade ago. So I think if we're talking about unicorn stuff, of course it can happen, but it is very rare. And in often cases, they know who that person is, or that person is an influencer and they know that person. They've seen them. Because there are some of these SAs who just like the person. Ballet dancer both unicorn and the laughing emoji. For the love of bag says yes. Yeah. So sometimes like, oh, I follow that person on Instagram and I like her. So I just want to offer her something because I know she's going to unbox it on Instagram. You know what I mean? And I think for some of them, they're like, I'm going to offer it to her. Okay, I don't remember who said this, but I remember there was an influencer. I swear I don't remember the person's name. There was an influencer who was like, oh, I just walked into Faubourg and an SA walked up to him and was like, hello, would you like a Birkin or Kelly? And it's like, you have hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram and TikTok. That is why they said that to you. Anyone else, I guarantee you, sweetheart, based on my previous experience, I remember the man standing in front of me on the previous Paris trip in the Gucci jacket, you know, so chic. He looked like he was dripping cash. And they were like, we do not have any appointments. For the love of boxes, I think Hermes has to have some clients that don't spend in case lawsuits show that not everyone's pre-spending. I don't know. They look like they've beat that lawsuit in America, so I don't know. Claudia says my hubby's brutally honest, so it might get in the way. Yeah. If your husband's too honest, they don't like that. Particularly in Europe, they don't like that. They'll be like, bye. He does like the watches though. I'm debating if it helps or hurt my efforts. I think you might be better off just buying it for him on his behalf, because I think people's husbands and boyfriends need to play the game a little bit. You need to be a little bit nice in the store. There was a really miserable looking gentleman the previous trip. He looked so angry and miserable. And I'm like, I always tell my husband, I'm like, if you're not going to be in a good mood, like there's really no point you being there. Lisa says, I think 99.9% of clients spend. Yeah, I mean, I think that is it. 99.9, unless you're Jennifer Lopez, celebrity, super famous influencer, or critically, you know someone who is a top tier client at the brand, and the SA is extending a favor to your friend who's a client by giving you a quota bag. That happens. But I don't see what Hermes benefits by giving people unicorn experiences. I think it actually pisses off a lot of loyal clients who've been really loyal to the brand. And like I said, we need to talk about unicorn experiences relevant to today. Again, in one Facebook group, someone was like, oh, I walked into Faubourg, I didn't buy anything and I got a bag. I was like, what year was that? And she was like, 2015. I was like, bitch, that was 10 fucking years ago and you are talking about it right now. Bye. It's completely irrelevant to bring that up a decade ago where the situation with social media wasn't what it is today. You know what I mean? So I was like, bitch, I mean, who gives a damn that you went in there 10 years ago? I know I don't. Lucy, they're laughing. Lucy says, also a lot of rumors about bribery or the shady antics. Okay, this is a live, so I'm going to say this now, but I'm not going to timestamp it. There's a lot of bribery happening in the French stores. Allegedly. Yeah, the Miami store scandal where the managers got fired and stuff. Allegedly, the Miami flagship was selling and putting them on the, like taking bags from the store and putting them on the resale market, and the employees were getting kickbacks. Lucy says, I wish someone would spill the tea about the Paris stores. Yeah, there's so much going on in those three boutiques. I've heard that too. Bribery. Yeah, so again, like if someone, and if you think about it, this is why we've said a gift is a bribe. If you give your SA a birthday present, that is a bribe. It is. And I've fought with people on this, like in my videos, those like videos that I've filmed and stuff. I fought with people about this who said like, you know, my SA is my friend, so I'm giving my friend a birthday gift. The SA is not your friend. If you give an Hermes SA a gift, knowing they're not allowed to accept presents, that is you trying to curry favor for your next bag offer. So I think that there's a lot of that that's happening for sure. Tony says a gift with the intention of receiving benefits, undoubtedly bribery. Let us not pretend that. And it's, yeah, so, you know, and people be like, oh, but she's my friend. The SA is my friend. The SA is not your friend. If you're giving a Hermes SA a birthday present, you are doing that in the hopes of later being remembered for something important. Lucy says, someone on the past forums relationship thread saying some European stores was pressuring her to buy a property with the sales manager's real estate agent friend. What? That's wild. Okay, that is insane. I'm actually on the past forums page right now. The past forum, I think sometimes like there's like great information, and then sometimes there are people who are like, I never buy anything. I never buy anything. And then their whole profile is them buying a ton of Birkin. Like, I don't understand the amnesia about bag offers. Like, I cannot stand that, guys. I will not become the people we hate. I promise. I will not become the people we hate. For example, I'm going to read something else someone wrote here on the past forum. I won't tell you who wrote it, but I'll just read out the paragraph. And this is the problem I have. And this is like my beef with some of this content. Okay. So this person here says it's on a thread about spending. Someone asks about spending at Faubourg, right? And the person says, I've always been told that FSH spend doesn't matter, but because they're not on commission. What makes me think is for a pre-planned visit, they may have some leeway to offer something. In other words, I don't think spending resets in Paris the way it does in Dubai or Singapore. I'm sorry, that is not true. And I say this with peace and love in my Michael Jackson voice. That is not true. Spending absolutely resets in Paris. It does after the offer. It does. Too many Glamazons who have received offers have explained that to me as well. Ballet says that's crazy. For Lover Bags is shocked. Tanya says OMG. For Lover Bags says the background is full of boxes. They don't buy anything. Exactly, because you don't buy anything. So I think one must be careful, because a lot of people are speaking from like a position where they have a great grandfathered experience of the brand. So they'll say things like they've been told that at Faubourg spending doesn't matter because they're not on commission. That doesn't really tell the full story. While yes, like French SAs do not get commissions, they definitely look good if they bring a high spending client to the boutique. So it isn't correct to say the spend doesn't matter. You better believe if you spend 40,000 euros at Hermes, you are going to get better treatment than the person spending 1,000. Lucy says grandfather experience, exactly it. Exactly. So you have a grandfathered experience at the brand. You might not be able to understand what it feels like for those of us who don't have that grandfathered experience and who don't have access to a store, where being able to spend does show that you're a little bit more serious. Okay. So I think it's just important. And that's what I'm saying, to the point that I think for the Lover Bags had said about unicorns. I'm not saying that unicorns don't exist. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is, you're more likely to hear unicorns posting on forums and Reddit pages and Facebook groups because they are more excited to share they had a unicorn experience. But if you actually look at it on a cumulative matter, as Lucy said, 99% of people are spending. Even in Paris, people are spending. You would be hard pressed in Paris to walk in today and get a Birkin 25 without buying a single thing. Does it happen? Sure. Is it one out of all of the appointments? Yes. Absolutely. It's maybe because, for example, I think 2 trips ago, someone had told me that they were doing 125 leather appointments per day across the 3 boutiques, right? So let's assume that's true for right now. If they have 125 leather appointments tomorrow, maybe 5 or 10 will be Pegasus unicorns who've never bought a thing. Everyone else has profile or purchase history because the lottery is rigged. Tanya says you shouldn't take the exception as standard. Unicorns are unicorns for a reason. That's all I'm saying. Holly says, hello, Holly. People need to realize the unicorn experience is part of the game, keeps people hooked. Yes, exactly. Lucy says, I think sometimes unicorn stories are just there to entice people to the store. Exactly. Thank you. I'm glad I feel very seen today because this is how I feel. I'm not a unicorn hater. I'm just trying to like share my views on it. Everyone thinks they're special enough to be the exception to the rule. They realize they're not. Yeah, exactly. Full Love Back says true. Holly says keeps people maintaining hope. Exactly. Claudia says, this is a good question. Claudia says, if I'm taking kids under 5 with me to the boutique and have a specific list of what I'm looking for, sizable spend items, that's something I should mention when trying to make an appointment at you mean Chanel? If you are going with children and you make an appointment and you say you're coming with your kids, Chanel will accommodate you. Chanel will accommodate you. Louis Vuitton will accommodate you. Yes. I think it's fine. I think it's fine to take young children. It's fine. I think you should make an appointment and tell them you're coming with smaller children under the age of 5. But I think you should be like, I am going to buy this today. I'm going to buy that today. Holly says, what items are you looking to buy? Oh, there's so many things, honey. I was just saying before, more Holy Grail pieces. So the Messika Pave bracelet. I'm trying to get an appointment at Audemars Piguet, obviously big H as well. I'm looking at the Capucines at Louis Vuitton. I want to focus on fewer pieces that are more special versus buying a ton of just, I don't mean to say crap. I don't mean it like it's crap, but buying a ton of stuff that maybe I'm not passionate or excited about. I like what I'm seeing at Alaya, Ferragamo, Bottega Veneta, and Gucci. So I'll have a look there. And of course, my two heartbeats, Versace and Moschino. So I'll pass by there too. Holly says jewelry should get you the bag rather than SLG. Yeah, I'll buy jewelry this time. This time I'm going to be spending, honestly, I'm going to be spending less time on it because I won't go to George Sank. And also because I'll be with my son, I'm only going to dedicate 2 days to this. So I'm going to have like 2 days to try and make this thing happen in Paris with my cousin. Maybe concierge can make you a leather appointment. Yeah, but you have to pay for that. And they're not doing the hotels right now. Unless it's, what hotel is doing it right now? Le Maurice, and you have to stay in a suite. And for me, like, you mentioned the Ferragamo Hug clutch, Holly. Yes, I love the Hug as a bag in general. Love that bag. For me, I'd rather stay at a hotel I like, not stay there because you can get an appointment at Big H. That's just me. You know what I mean? And I'm weird about hotels. Like, I'm weird about how clean they are. I'm weird about like the towels they use. Like, is it super clean? I don't know if anyone else is like me. It has to be incredibly clean. I don't care if it's 5-star, 1-star. That place needs to be clean. I need to see fresh towels there every day. I'd rather stay somewhere really, really nice. Irrespective of whether they can help you get a ponytail appointment or not. Most hotels in Paris can probably get you a Louis Vuitton or Cartier appointment, but obviously very few have the connections to get you a ponytail appointment. And if they can get you a Big H appointment, you will 2000% be expected to buy Birkin bait. So to me, it kind of defeats the point. But yeah, so we'll definitely on this trip, we'll be going to other cities in Europe, not necessarily to try, but if you remember the previous trip when I went with my cousin to the Copenhagen store and I wrote like the blog post on my blog and I filmed a video talking about going to the Copenhagen store for Hermes. So hopefully I'll be able to do that for Hermes and Louis Vuitton. And if there are other brands you guys are interested in, you'll let me know. So we'll do that as well. So it'll be autumn, winter. I'm just waiting for him to be a little bit older, just 2 more months. Holly says, I stay at the Marriott Bonvoy hotels. Okay. Oh, that's nice. Are there any Marriott Bonvoy hotels? I guess what I'm trying to say is this when it pertains to Hermes. What I'm saying is this. Yes, of course, there are places in Europe and in America and the UK and the Middle East and Asia, Singapore and Australia and so on and so forth, where of course there are people who do have like that relationship and stuff. But I do think one must note that the amount of people who are influencers, I can think of one person in particular, it's not shade or anything to this person, doesn't matter who the person is. The person shops in New York, doesn't seem like she really buys a lot of Birkin bait. Don't dox the person if you know who I'm talking about, because it doesn't matter who the person is, because it could be anyone. Lucy says the Ritz is on a portfolio. Yeah, but you can't use points at the Ritz. You have to pay cash and stuff. You can't use like any points if you have like prestige at the Ritz. You can't use it. Holly says, do you see Hermes 94% in China, down in China? China Post has done some interesting reporting on it lately. No, I haven't seen that. But honestly, guys, I don't know. I'm just kind of losing interest in the whole like luxuries down this, luxuries down that. I mean, you know, China is a really important market, but they'll bounce back eventually. And it's going to happen. Hermes is going to be down in a lot of places eventually. It's not possible to maintain this kind of spending. It is not possible for it's not possible for like Hermes to like maintain this forever. So if it's down, it's down. It is what it is. What was I saying before? Yeah, I was saying about the the spending stuff, right? So there was like someone who I'd seen was like posting her offers and stuff. It doesn't seem like she really buys anything, and she shops in New York, but she has a massive following on social media. So the SA obviously knows who she is. The SA is probably a little bit more invested in giving her like a top tier offer, if that makes sense, versus like giving someone else, someone who's like a client who doesn't have a huge following. I don't even have 1,000 followers on Instagram for reference. Whereas there are people who have like 150,000, you know, whatever's. Influencers get exceptions, I agree. Yeah, so and of course that has to be frustrating. You know, for example, there's some boutiques here that I was thinking, Lucy says, but I also think they don't post their pre-spend. Well, so they don't post their pre-spend. I don't think they post their pre-spend, but honestly, and I don't mean this like to sound shady, I also don't think influencers can spend the way a lot of top tier clients can spend. So many of them are probably not even going to be spending anyway, but the SA might just like them as a person and want to offer something to them because they like them. There are people who get to go to the Louis Vuitton fashion show who are not spending $200,000 a year. And that's what you have to spend. You have to spend 120,000 euros, $250,000 a year to go to the Louis Vuitton fashion show. But says, thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you. Yes, like the live, you guys, please. Holly says influencers are a bit of a joke compared to top. Yeah. I mean, it's not comparable. You cannot compare a top tier, even a top tier influencer. Claudia says you need to get your push present. Tell the pony to pony up. No. Ponies. I'm not telling you what he's getting me for my push present. Keep it quiet. He's getting me something on the trip. Let me stay quiet because I always end up snitching on myself. You just have to wait. That's the only thing. I'll tell you what I get at Hermes before I say what the push present will be, but I'm excited about it. Oh my God, I would never have an Hermes bag as a push present. Like I was already stressed giving birth to the baby, then stressing about getting a ponytail bag. No thanks. Bye. Push present is jewelry or like a car, something like that, please. Bally's laughing at Claudia. Holly says top tier clients are literally Dubai princess, Singaporean elite. There are all kinds of people. That at the end of the day, wherever they're from is irrelevant. They're the people who spend the top tip, the top dollar, top. You know, there. Isaiah, hi Isaiah, hi everyone, just dropping in. Hi. Lucy says I was going to say it was going to be a car. Girl, let me be quiet because like it's a secret for now. It's a secret. But I'll show you when we go on the trip. Yeah, for me, an Hermes bag, a Coach bag would not be a push present because I'm already stressed. Giving birth to him was stressful, and trying to get that bag is already stress. But on this trip, me and my cousin will go to boutiques in Europe, so I'll keep those locations to myself for now because some of those places we're still just negotiating to see where we can go. But I'll definitely pass by the Faubourg, Sèvres, and then if I'm not successful there, I'll go to Monte Carlo and then I'll report back to you guys. And always be transparent and honest. But to be fair, like the purse forum is definitely becoming more transparent. People are sharing spending a little bit more. Not as much as I would like to see, but there's some efforts to talk about spending. Is there a lottery in London? Ballet Dancer says hello. No, there isn't a lottery in London. London is wish list. Holly says you probably want a minimum. I think for the mini Kelly, it has to be more than that. Lucy says the press forum has some OG posters who are obsessed with Hermes, constantly gaslighting anyone who complains about Hermes. Yeah, definitely I've seen that. Like, people are allowed to critique Hermes. Hermes is not God. Hermes is not Saturn. It's not Jupiter. It's not the sun. It is not the solar system. You're allowed to critique the brand and still like the brand. There's some people who are super frightened about critiquing the brand, and then they won't get invited to events. I don't really care about that for Big H. They're never going to invite me to anything. I couldn't give a toss. So I'm going to share my opinion. That's why I said there's a lot of nuance to discussing spending. Yes, it is true that it's a relationship, but it's a relationship based on how much money someone has. Okay. So I remember in one purse forum thread, and again, shout out to the purse forum. It's all love. I like the purse forum. I use it for prices and to see what's happening in different stores. It's all love. But I remember in one thread, I think it was for the Chicago store, when the Chicago store, I think, did a reopening. I think it was last year. And people were asking, like, how much did you spend to get invited to the relaunch of the boutique or whatever? And someone who went to the relaunch refused to say how much they spent. I was like, you guys, the person asked a question. This is like when people say, how much is a Birkin 25? And someone's like, a Birkin 35 is this. Okay, but I didn't ask you that. Lucy says lots of people won't stop talking about the H fairy, even when it's obvious the fairy hates them. That's amazing. You just put that on a shirt. Claudia says, thoughts on the Fendi sequin baguette. Anyone seen it live? SATC one. Overhyped, my opinion. By the way, I think Fendi have some beautiful exotics. The peekaboo and ostrich. Okay, I'm getting distracted. Ballet Dance says, do you like the LV men's line? You can pre-order items. My husband likes it. He likes it a lot. But my husband likes their clothes. So on this trip, I feel like men are treated better. So I want to tag along with him when he goes to like an appointment. Because I think they're treated better. And I told him that. He's like, we probably are. Lucy says, wait till you see the people who went to the free public Hermes event in NYC who pretending they got invited on behalf of Hermes with the tiny girl, I just can't. And okay, so to the point, so like I was saying, the Purse Forum has done a lot for this community and definitely deserves respect. So it's not shade, but what I'm saying is the person who went to the Chicago relaunch of the store went there because of how much they spent. When you say things like, I don't want to say how much I spent because I spent too much at the brand, that's gatekeeping Hermes. Whether you like it or not, that is a form of gatekeeping. And what I found is on a lot of forums, not just the Purse Forum, it could be Reddit, Facebook groups, people gatekeep the information. So if you ask someone like, how much did you spend to go, for example, if you get invited to a Cartier high jewelry event, you are a VIP at Cartier. If you get invited to a Bulgari high jewelry event, you've probably spent about $90,000, 90,000 pounds. Minimum, you spent 90,000 euros in a year in order to be invited. Why can't you just say my previous spending was close to 6 figures, that's why I was invited? If you don't want to say the exact amount. I remember in that thread, people were saying, how did you get the invitation for the relaunch? One person was like, I don't want to say how much I spent. I think it's a relationship. You know very well you spent 6 figures at the brand. That's why you went to the relaunch. Anyway, I was like, bye. And America is very competitive. I've only been invited to Ferragamo launches and events. Ferragamo treat their VIPs very well. Very well. I saw someone who had posted, I think it was on TikTok again, just came up on For You, that they'd been to one of the fashion shows previously, and they were like a VIP client, and they were treated very well. They got to meet Maximilian. Lucy says they love pretending it's all about relationship. It's all about how much you spend. Say it in my voice. The essay is not your friend. It's all about how much you spend. I just don't like the gatekeeping. It's a private forum. How does it hurt to say how much you spent? No one knows who you are. Okay, I won't turn into the people we hate. If I'm successful in Paris this year, I promise I'm coming to share exactly what I spent. I've already written down everything I've bought anyway, in anticipation. Leonie Carter says, they may be embarrassed to say how much they spent. Maybe they could say, I think you need to spend at least. Okay, they could say that. That's a good idea. I think you need to spend this, right? But while they may be embarrassed of what? There's nothing to be embarrassed about. Because honestly, and I hope this doesn't sound awful, Big H spending is a lot, but there are people in the watch world, like the people who shop on Audemars Piguet and Richard Mille, they make Hermes and Louis Vuitton shopping look like people are buying chips and eggs and pancakes at a supermarket. The people who spend literally $500,000 on watches a year. So relative to even other luxury brands, feeling embarrassed about spending 60,000, 70,000 euros, I don't know. To me, it feels like an excuse. I still think it's gatekeeping. You don't want to share the information. You don't want to tell the girls what you spent. For example, because I'm not a gatekeeper, okay? Based on things I've been told by people and people who have been successful in Paris in the past year, there seems to be a number that gets you an on-the-spot appointment after Birkin page shopping. I'll put this to the test, maybe. We'll see. I might put it to the test this trip. I might not. I'm going to tell you the number because I'm not a gatekeeper. That number seems to be 40,000 euros and above. So let's add minus 5,000 euros. Let's say around 35K. People who spend that 40,000 euro mark in one appointment seem to get on-the-spot leather appointments. So maybe if you spend 35K, you might get an on-the-spot leather appointment. Now that's from people telling me directly like, hey, I spent 37,000. I got an on-the-spot appointment. I spent 40,000. A Glamazon spent a specific amount of money and she was given a leather appointment and she was offered a Birkin. Okay. Now that does not mean you need to spend 40K. That absolutely doesn't mean that. Absolutely not. But it's good to have the number with, and let's add or minus 5,000. So let's take 5,000 out or even 30. We can say, okay, and all of those on-the-spot appointments were at Faubourg. That is information that shouldn't be gate-kept. I can share it here in the live because, it's a live, okay? Am I afraid of retribution from Big H? No, Big H is not God, okay? I only fear God. I don't fear anyone else. Sorry. No. Holly says, yeah, the watch world and car world. Yeah. So like, I'm not hearing, the girls are like, oh, I don't want to say. You don't want to say, but you want to flex your Birkins and Kellys on the girls though. Okay, but that's just me. Don't mind me and my little rant. But I had to go off there for a second. So there's nothing wrong with sharing that. Now, me sharing that number does not mean I'm telling people go spend 40K. Does not mean I'm saying go spend 35K at Faubourg. I'm not saying that at all. But people have spent those numbers and have been offered on-the-spot appointments. Maybe if you spend 30, maybe you could spend 25 and get an on-the-spot appointment. But it's good to have the numbers because it helps to kind of put things into perspective. And I'm saying this now before someone's like, you said people should spend that. I absolutely did not. I'm just telling you what I've heard. Leonie says, unless you're buying jewelry, how on earth could you spend that much in one go? Girl. Big H have trolls, honey. They have got trolls on their website right now that are like 30,000, 35K. You could buy some of the troll lanterns, the troll lamps. They're troll jewelry. Claudia says, I'm screwed. I love silks. Don't like Big H rate too. I guess jewelry is the way to go. I think jewelry is the way to go. Yeah. I also like jewelry because it's like more portable. So you're not going to be carrying like a ton of boxes onto the plane and stuff like that. Because I think that would be a huge pain to have to carry like lots of boxes and try and figure out that, So again, I'm not saying that's the amount you have to spend. But for example, someone on the Hermes Game subreddit, and this is on the subreddit, you can go look it up yourself, okay? Spent they said that they bought a ton of clothes. They spent more than 40K, and they were offered a mini Kelly and Croc on the spot. They didn't have to make an appointment. They didn't have to come back the next day. They didn't have to ask for someone's card. So obviously there's a number there. Maybe it's 40, maybe it's 35, maybe it's 30, but there's a number. Okay, that correlates with things that people have told me privately. Like I spent 37K and I was given an on-the-spot appointment. I spent 40K, I was given an on-the-spot appointment. I spent 35 and I was given an on-the-spot appointment. All of those appointments resulted in quota backs. So I think it's important for us to share the information. So if you then say I feel really embarrassed, I don't want to say how much I spent, how can we get that information? Anyway, I'm going to stop ranting about this because I think I've made my point now because I've just rant and moan about it all day. For Leatherback says, I think if you spend that next appointment, your appointment will appear the next day, if not that day. Yeah, you'll get, definitely, you have a good chance of getting it that day, yeah. Leonie says, I can't imagine transporting a Birkin 35 home from Paris. thinking about it is making my head spin. Like, how are you bringing that thing on the plane? Holly says, do you have an SA to return to starting with a new one? No, I do not have an SA. I had one at Severus. She never responded to my emails. She still works there. So I have to start again from scratch. But I'll be with my cousin. So we have a new strategy. We'll both try, but separately, and then see how far we get. But I feel good about it this time. I'm also more excited to shop elsewhere. So I feel less pressure, if that makes sense. Because I'm like, because of my son, I'm only going to give myself 2 days to try it. I'm in Paris. Claudia says, can we talk about the abomination that is those silk patches is selling as bags? Girl, you said it, not me. Lucy says there's some people on the platform for shop in America who say their pre-spend is 5 times in their home store per offer. Crazy, probably more normal than we realize. That is definitely way more normal than people realize. I agree. And they're being, at least those people are being honest, because it's like under a pseudonym on the platform. I believe it. For Loverback says, how about emailing her? You never know. Yeah, maybe. But I tried last time. She ignored my email. And she works there. And you know, last time with my cousin, she saw me. And I remember telling my cousin, like, oh my God, they're 17. And she looked at me and she was like, nah. You know, for me, I'm also a very proud person. Lucy said I'm a tourist. I'm a tourist, baby. Like, I'm only going to ask you once. I'm not going to beg you. I'm not going to ask you 5,000 times. I asked you once. I emailed you. I was polite. You never replied to me. You still work at the brand. So I can't beg you. So I'm only going to ask you once. If you don't respond, I'll go find someone else. Lucy said, send her an expensive piece you want. Ask if it's stock. I sent her jewelry last time. She never replied. For the love of bags, maybe she didn't see it. They get so many emails. Doesn't hurt to try. No, to me, I'm a proud person to a point. Everyone sees their emails. I don't believe she gets more emails than people who work at Microsoft and Google. They reply, so she can reply. Holly says, yeah, I'm the same. I'm not a chaser. Yeah, I'm not a chaser. Boo-boo. I'm not a chaser. You know, I asked you once, I emailed you, you still work there. You looked me in my eye last October and you were like, nah. Leonie says, I have a hard time spending in my home store, no stock. I start with the most expensive items on my list and often end up buying the cosmetic items so I don't go home empty-handed. Okay. Is it because there's no inventory? Okay. Yeah, it's hard if there's no inventory. Lucy says it's better to find an SA you feel comfortable with, friendlier. Yeah, and also I think some ponytail SAs, and this is the impression I get of 17, it doesn't mean she's a bad person, but she wants you to kind of beg her. That's the feeling that I got. And I remember telling my cousin the same way, like, you want me to beg you? Like, girl, I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? It's not that serious to me. And there are plenty of SAs to try with and stuff. And I got that impression at Severus last time, because if you watch my story time, remember I told you there was a gentleman who was at the leather desk. Remember I told you there was a lady, if you watch the story time, there was a lady who was in front of me and she was like, oh, there's an SA. He told me to come back. And then the SA who tried to trick her was coming out with boxes. And she's like, there he is. Let me go there. And then I'm like, oh, you know, I'm just trying to see if there are any cancellations. And he had this like little smug smirk on his face. I'm sorry, I can't chase people like that. I still remember that smirk, and I was like telling my cousin about it, and she was like, oh. Lucy says some essays are on power trips. Yeah, some of them are on power trips. So it's not so much my ego as it is like in my real life, I wouldn't chase someone like that. So I'm not going to do that for a handbag. I'll try again. And also I have a lot of resilience, so I don't mind trying again. I'm not worried about it. Imagine, okay, get this. Imagine emailing her and then she blanks you again. Like, how many times do you need to be blanked? Leonie says, I don't even want a quote bag. I want a Halzan. I gave up on my home store and I'm going to ask in Hawaii next time I'm there. If they have it, they'll definitely sell you one. Okay, guys, here's an interesting little tidbit from the past forum, okay? And I agree with this, right? Someone says, quote, I've heard in some stores, the coveted bags may go to the SA with the highest sales in the prior month or whatever time frame they use. My SA has told me for coveted items, it's raffled off to a lucky SA. Yeah, I've heard this too. So if like how much you spend doesn't matter. Why do the coveted bags go to the SA who has the highest sales the previous month? Just saying. That's all I'm saying. Okay, that's all I'm saying, Glamazons. And I know that, of course, there's some Hermes boutiques that have like slower sales than others. So maybe you can do less pre-spending. For example, there was a Glamazon who told me to go to the boutique in Prague. Okay. She said the boutique in Prague has less competition. I said, I wasn't planning on going to Prague, but maybe I can try and see, or maybe I can go next year. Let's see how things go in Paris. But there are places that have less competition than other places. So maybe there might be some hope. So for example, the boutique in Prague in the Czech Republic, the Hermes boutique in Venice, allegedly, that's what the girls say, that there are like opportunities at places like that where maybe you could do less pre-spending and still walk out with something. And with something, I mean a Buck and Kelly or Constance. That's what I mean. And then, of course, you have the situation at Louis Vuitton, as well. If you read the newsletter, I told you guys about a Glamazon who's having a dilemma there. She's a top tier spender in the US, but she's never been invited to the fashion show. So what should she do? Should she be direct? I feel like Louis Vuitton, she needs to get the SA to make the invitation happen for her. It's probably easier to get a cruise invitation than it would be to get a spring summer invitation. So if you read the email newsletter, you've already seen that thing because we talked about it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, I'm excited about this year. There's a lot of exciting stuff going on, and very, very excited about all the stuff and the content you guys are going to see. So I hope you guys stick around. But yeah, I think it'll be autumn, winter. That's when we'll be there. So looking forward to. I'm ready. Looking forward to it, honey. I see the points that you guys are saying about emailing her, but I'm just like, my pride will not let me. Like I'm the kind of person, like, in my life, like, I don't need to be told more than once. I can take a hint. Let me take these off. They're getting a bit heavy. I can take a hint, so I'm okay. Okay, all right. So, there's some messages here. Isaiah says, hi, Venice is nice. When I asked about bag allocation, of course, mostly for locals, but willing to work with tourists who frequent there a lot. Okay, interesting. That's good to hear. So maybe there's hope there. That's what I've heard. I've heard that there are opportunities in the Venice boutique. To me, if they say frequent there a lot, they mean like if you drop a bag of money. Ballet says the bag charms are getting out of control across brands. Yeah, exactly. It's the Labubu trend. I love the Labubus though. I need one. I need a Labubu, guys. I totally need a Labubu. Am I the only person who loves the Labubu? I need one, guys. What's the scoop on Big H in Vegas? Last time I heard is if you drop a bag of money, 25,000. This is the last number I heard, but it's a 2023 number. 25,000 USD, 27,000 USD. They will tell you to come back the next day to pick up the quota bag. And the last place I heard that is willing to churn bags for people who don't live in Vegas is Crystals. Holly says, I'm a Hello Kitty Sanrio girl. Yeah, Hello Kitty's really cute. Lucy says, I did not think you'd be a Labubu girl. I'm just obsessed with Labubus. Lucy, they're trolls. He wasn't, the inventor of the Labubu was inspired by trolls. I live for trolling. Like, I love them. They're fucking trolls, mate. Then he says, I'm in Vegas, but I'm clueless. That's what I've heard about Vegas. I've heard that if you drop a bag of money, same day, like they'll tell you to come back the next day to pick up the bag. Isaiah says LV P9 aged gold charms are looking to be collectibles because of the P9 stamps. Ooh, yeah. I think the P9 has really surprised me in how collectible, I beg your pardon, the bag has become. Guys, what did you think of the Louis Vuitton Murakami Lozines? What did you think of the cherry square Lozine? Did anyone like that Lozine? I like it. I don't like it for 53,000 euros, but I like it. Lucy says, haha. They're trolls. I mean, it's amazing. When I was reading that he was inspired by trolls, I was like, And we're always talking about trolling on here. I love it. I'm loving it. Holly says, you need a troll mascot for the channel. Yeah, we need a mascot for this channel. I think I was thinking our mascot should be like a crocodile or a troll. Leonie says, I shop at the Win store. Okay. Ballet Dancer says, I want a P9. They've become very collectible. Claudia says, what do people think of the P9? I have to say, I thought that they were going to flop when they first came out. I was proven wrong. They've become very collectible. They've become very collectible. And I've noticed that since Pharrell has become the creative director of Louis Vuitton Men's, the limousines on the men's collections have skyrocketed in price. Even during Virgil's time, they were not as expensive as they are now. Ballet says, yeah, I like it. Oh, you like the cherry limousine, the square one? The square limousine with the cherries on it? Leonie says, I love the P9, but it's so expensive, I want a larger size. They're very nice. Holly says, P9's not for me. I'm a Dauphine girl, but they don't age well. God, I love the Dauphine still. I need one. Ballet Dancer says, Don Hugh Farrell. Yeah, the limousines on the men's collection have exploded in price since he has become the creative director of men's. And obviously, limousines are gender neutral. Anyone can buy a limousine. But like the limousine and the men's collections are very expensive. Isaiah says, I'm now wanting a P9, especially with the indigo color. Everyone says his leather is super soft. What is the name of that P9? Because I'm on the website right now. Should I look it up? Let me check this out. This is so fun. Love talking to you guys. It's always a treat. Yo, oh my God. The Speedy P9 with the Swarovski crystals is 20,000 euros. Who is buying that? For the love of back says, when I went to Vegas, SA looked at my profile and told me she doesn't recommend me buying anything. Stay loyal to my store. They shut me down. Yeah, they do that a lot if you have a profile already in America. I've heard that. Was that at Crystals or the Bellagio boutique? Apparently they're very rude at the Bellagio store. Oh my God, the P9 is this expensive. Where have I been? Speedy P9 Bandolier 50, 10,300 euros. Speedy P9 Bandolier 40, 9,250. It's quite pricey. Where have I been? You know, why is it so expensive? Or maybe because it's a men's product. Louis Vuitton's men's products tend to be more expensive than women's. Okay, Isaiah mentioned indigo. I'm trying to find that color. Is this the one here called pink and purple? You said indigo. I'm guessing you mean this one here. Is indigo like the amethyst one? Let me see. For Loverback says Bellagio. Okay. Holly says they're stupid money. Yeah, it's a ton of money. Leonie says, I found the Bellagio store snotty, but I haven't been there since 2018. The Bellagio store is going to be in my next dragging review video, and there are lots of angry people there. Ballet says, one of my essays told me if I stop spending my money on other LV items, I can get one. Yeah, this is the thing with Louis Vuitton, is you can just end up spending all of your money, like buying trolls and buying other things. Louis Vuitton has so much stuff that's just, you know, very nice. Honestly, the P9 is really nice. I just don't understand why it's priced more than an exotic handbag. That's all I just want. I just want someone to explain to me, why is it more than an exotic bag? Okay. FYI, this one here, the 3D P9 bandolier, 40 centimeters, 9,250. Capucine and ostrich is 7,000 euros. Why? But okay, fine. Maybe because Pharrell's a celebrity. They're very, very expensive. I like Louis Vuitton's jewelry, guys. I know that's easy to be like, I don't care about a fashion brand's jewelry, but I like their jewelry. I think it's very cute, very chic. I think that they have very cool looking shapes from the monogram. They lend themselves to jewelry. Is anyone buying anything? Are you guys saving up for any big purchases? Anything for Christmas? Leonie says, yeah, they're overpriced. Holly says they're trying to make it exclusive. Ballet says I want the ultra bag. That one's very nice. Holly says I'd rather have Capucine. Yeah, me personally, I'd rather have a Capucine as well. Guys, what do you think about these Louis Vuitton? Just super quick. What do you think about the Louis Vuitton bracelet? It's if you have your phone up on you, or you have your laptop. It's called the Idle Blossom multi-motif bracelet, pink, gold, and diamonds. It's like a charm bracelet with the Louis Vuitton symbols. It's called Idle Blossom multi-motif bracelet in pink, gold, rose gold with diamonds. It is very expensive, but it's cute. What do you guys think about these Louis Vuitton charm bracelets from this Idyll Blossom line? Maybe I'll feature them in. I love Louis Vuitton's jewelry. I just don't understand why it's so expensive. I just want Louis Vuitton to explain to me, why is your jewelry more expensive than Chopard's jewelry? Claudia says, okay, I love the picnic capucine. Oh, yes, gorgeous. Holly says, I'm getting the Bulgari Serpenti ring next year. Already bought a Celine bag, YSL bag. I love the Bulgari B01 Pave ring. Holly, I know you're a Bulgari babe. I love the B01 Pave ring. Love it. Isaiah says competitive to VCA. Yeah, it's definitely giving VCA, definitely. But Louis Vuitton have had these shapes before the Van Cleef and Arpels people got married. So I'm going to allow Louis Vuitton to keep these shapes, honey. But I just want big Louis Vuitton, baby. Everyone at Pont Neuf in Paris, explain to me, why are you pricing your things like this? That is all. But yeah, the fine jewelry, it's very beautiful. As Ballet said, it's very unique. By the way, guys, I like Van Cleef and Arpels. I don't know why people think I don't like them. I'll definitely pass by the boutique and check it out. I'll take my husband with me. Maybe I'll get better treatment if I go with him. After For the Love of Bags said that her husband had a good experience at VCA. Maybe I'll take my man there so I don't get dragged. How about that? Holly said, Bulgari babes. Yes, I do love the B01 as well. Is anyone buying anything interesting? Purchased anything interesting? Holly just said she got the Celine bag, the CLYSL bag. She's going to get the Serpenti ring from Bulgari next year. Does anyone like this charm bracelet I'm talking about? Sorry, there's another one here that I quite like. I just, again, I don't understand why it's priced like this, but it's called the Idyll Blossom Monogram Bracelet in yellow gold with diamonds. Guys, what do you think about these Louis Vuitton charm bracelets in the fine jewelry? It's really funny because I'm not a charm bracelet person. I do think it's quite cute. Lucy says there's a YouTuber saying her diamond popped out of VCA. Sorry, I think it disconnected for a second. Tell me if you can still hear me. Lucy said there's a YouTuber saying her diamond popped out of VCA. They tried to charge her for a repair. Ooh, I don't know about that, but tell me if you can still hear me, guys. Isaiah said for holiday, saving up for a small Shen Donker gold bracelet and score SOB25. Ooh, okay. Ooh, special order sounds good. For the Love of Bag says, I've been stalking Fashion File new Capucine. I have a hard time paying full price anyone else. I love the Capucine. God, I'm so obsessed with them right now. Ballet Dance says, yes, I like it. Holly says, LV bracelet's nice. Lucy says, I'd like to buy a second pair of H alligator shoes. I have the Oasis on the Orans, but save the jewelry money for Hermes. Okay. As I says, I do like the LV motifs, just not for the price. Yes. Okay. So just super quick to go back to the motif thing. My issue is I love this. I just don't understand why they've priced it like this, but I do think they're very cute. This thing is 7,000 euros, the monogram one. It's crazy. Okay, you guys have some interesting shopping things that you want to get. Lucy's saying that she wants a second pair of Hermes alligator shoes. How much are those in dollars? I think in euros, the Orans and alligator are 3,800. Yeah, in alligator. Because in lizard, they're like 1,800. So I think, in shiny alligator, I think the Orans in Europe are like 3,700. Sorry, guys, to be annoying. Could you like the video if you haven't already and send those like reaction things? That would be amazing for me. I think the motifs are also really pretty. I just don't understand the price. That's all. I'm just like really amazed at like the way they have priced the items. That's all. It's just fascinating to me. That's all. Because it's like they're very expensive. And I know for that price point, people would rather go to Van Cleef and Arpels. Lucy says, and a long wait because they were SO shoes. How much are they in dollars? I think they were around slightly cheaper, but not by much. Do you remember the dollar price? Do you think that the decrease in luxury spending means that it's easier to shop luxury this year? Lucy says Oasis and alligator were 5,250. Okay. half due when placing, so the other half are due and picking up. Okay, 2 questions for you guys. And take these answers seriously, because you guys have cared enough to join the live, so I do care what you think. 2 questions. Do you think that luxury spending being down this year means it's like easier to shop luxury? Number 1. Number 2, if you had to choose between buying a Birkin 25 at retail, 44,000 in Alligator, 44,000 euros. I'll just use euros because I'm following those prices right now. But think of your currency. Or a Capucine and Croc, mini Capucine, 20,000 euros. Which one would you buy? Money's not a thing. I'm getting good treatment in Australia lately in Ferragamo, Bulgari, Louboutin, excuse me. I'm on YSL. Okay, that's great. I think it's easy to just shop luxe since less is spending, but prices keep going up. That's what I don't understand. Why are they going up? I just think that motif charm bracelet thing is so cute, because this is like the costume jewelry, and I get so many compliments when I wear this, and it's held up quite well. So I can imagine the fine jewelry is doing quite well. Lucy says, I'll take the Birkin for sure. For the lover back says, yes, Birkin. Holly says, I'm a Birkin girl. Okay. I'm really thinking about buying the Capucine and Croc. Because I was thinking about maybe, instead of buying the Capucine and Ostrich, maybe I could buy the Capucine and Croc and then get a mini Lady Dior and lizard. Ballet says, not necessarily. I went to a smaller Chanel boutique for the new collection. It was busy. Oh, really? For the lover bag says, I feel like people aren't shopping as much, so there are more offers. Okay. Ballet says, I didn't bother with the flagship. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay, well, I'm very excited about this like autumn winter trip, because I can't wait to see like treatment and stuff like that. I'm curious about like I'm going to go to one boutique with my son, but I'll make an appointment. I'll tell them I'm coming with a baby, because I do think it's interesting to see like can they handle treating you well if you come with like a small infant or something. I'm curious about that. But most of the time shopping with him, I'll probably just shop alone. I'll have my husband watch him while I go and look for things. Lucy says, if I were you, I'd try and get a Croc Birkin. If that doesn't work out, get LV. Yeah. The thing is, with the crocodile Birkin is this. I think we talked about this previously. I don't think you can get the crocodile mini Kelly or crocodile Kelly Pochette without buying a crocodile Birkin or Kelly in the 25 centimeter. Right? For the lover bag says, LV's good with littles. Okay, good. Ballet says, I definitely want you to get off. Oh, thank you. I will this time. I'm feeling good this time. Me and my cousin, we feel good because my cousin's always with me when we try together. Lisa says, new collection at Chanel usually brings out VIPs, so not surprised it was busy. We're likely slow once collection hype dies down. Damn! Damn, Lucy, shit. Don't let the WCU write that. Holly says, how's he going? Is he a good kid? A bit crazy. He's very social. He loves people. So I feel like he'd be fine in a luxury shop because he loves people. And he, for some reason, seems to understand that he needs to hold it together in public. And when we're together, he'll melt down. But in public, he's fine. So I think he can handle it. Because not all babies can handle like that much stimulation. But he's fine. He loves being with people, loves being outside. I don't know. I feel like with the Birkin, all of you have said Birkin. None of you have said Capucine, which I'm really surprised about because I feel like the Capucine and Croc is like such a special piece. Now, I'm not saying, my husband says I always do this. I ask people for what they think. And then I'm like, okay, I'm discounting what you think. Here's what I think. He always says that I do that. And it's not true. Because the Birkin 25 and Alligator is 44,000 euros. The mini Capucine and Croc is 20,000. So it's like double the price plus playing the game. But also, I feel like, this is just my reading of it, I feel like the Birkin 25 in Alligator or Croc, the Kelly 25 in Alligator or Croc, I don't think you need to pre-spend more, my opinion, more than 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 euros. Because I think once you say, I want to buy a crocodile bag, they will listen to you, I think, more than they would if you're like, I want a Birkin 25, they're going to be like, girl, buy it. If you're like, I want to buy a exotic Birkin, I think they'll be more willing to whatever. Leonie says, I think you'll be successful this trip. You've set your profiles up well on previous trips. Thank you. Thank you for that. But I feel good about it because also I am no longer like going to George Sank. And you know what's so funny? Because I was debriefing with my husband actually when I was telling him about this next trip we're going on. And he told me that day when I went to George Sank, he was like, you didn't want to go there. You had a bad feeling about going there and you had a horrible experience. It's like you knew that you weren't going to enjoy it. So I think also like you have to go to places where you know you're going to have a good experience. So definitely we'll have lots of great videos. I guess the question I asked was more like, you guys you'd still choose the Birkin, even if there was like a great crocodile capucine there, you'd still take the Birkin 25 and Croc? Or alligator, whichever. You're more focused. Yeah, I am. I'm more focused now. And last time I didn't really buy anything because I wasn't trying last time. I was like, let me just try. What happened at George Sank. I talked about it in my video, but basically to summarize, I just felt like the SA wanted to help me, but he seemed really nervous about helping me because there were like 3 SAs watching him, and he kept looking at them like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I felt like he wanted to help when I explained the situation. And I do think he took pity on me because I was pregnant at the time, but they kept giving him these dirty looks. And then he told me to go downstairs. I go downstairs and then she's like, oh, if you'd come earlier, there was some spots, but now we don't have anything. So I just feel like every time I've gone there, it's just been a horrible experience. Lucy says, I would definitely choose the Birkin, but it depends on color. Leanne says, I'll take the Birkin. Lucy says, I would not accept a Croc in alligator in orange or brown. Oh, Isaiah says, the Capucine and Croc can definitely set you up for future LV private salon views. Ooh, really? What about the Capucine and Lizard? I feel like Croc really just puts you on that kind of level. It's 20,000 right now. They increase the price every 6 months. Okay, everyone has said the Birkin. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. My husband's always like, you ask people their opinion, then you're like, no, I'm going to choose the Capucine. The Mini Kelly and Lizard is 24,600 USD. It's crazy. And it's a push offer. So you can't request it. Okay, cool. Well, this has been really great, you guys. We've had a great conversation. Thanks everyone for joining. Lucy says, but also only Birkin 25. I wouldn't take Birkin 30 and Croc. Yeah, facts. Facts. That is very factual. In fact, the Birkin, hang on, wait. Guys, would you take the Kelly doll? Not saying anyone's offering the Kelly doll. I'm just saying, would you take the Kelly doll? Mini Kelly Lizard, so beautiful. So is the Kelly 25. Oh, I know, so beautiful. It's just a shame because they're Lizard, they're push offers. So they have to like be at the store. Holly says no to Kelly doll. I would take Kelly doll. Belle said it's on my wish list. LOL. I think it's such a special piece. I think it's so special. Yo, this is wild. The Birkin 30 in shiny Process is 74,500 USD. Did you hear me? Birkin 30 in shiny Process crocodile in the Cellier is 74,500 USD. Lucy said it's a little weird. I used to hate the Kelly doll, but I've come around. Isaiah says the Kelly doll is a holy grail. So it's a grail piece. It's a grail piece for sure. Lucy says 74 is crazy. Holly says ha ha ha. Lucy says they sell for less. I know. But you know, I feel like the problem with resale is like you lose that on your account. Isaiah, but not for the picture. OG design. Oh, really? I think the picture looks way better than the original one. I think the original one actually looks scary. Like it looks like it'll be speaking to you in the middle of the night. I'm a superstitious person, so that bag would have to go in a wardrobe or something before it turns into Narnia and it starts speaking to me. And it's like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and it turns into Aslan or something. Because then that would be too much. Oh my God. Okay, guys, I'm so glad everyone joined in. This is so great. We'll do this like once a week. But yeah, thanks to everyone who joined in. I want to sew black Birkin. Do they still make those, or is that on resale? Tell me about it. Okay, guys, see you on the, can you guys go drop comments on the main feed? Not the bag having conversations. Wait, what did you say? Valley said not the bag having conversations. Please go drop some comments on the main feed of this live. That would be really great. That would help me. And yeah, thanks everyone for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next live for sure. Bye.